एक वो एनएसएफ के डीसी सहभागिता से लोन मेलों के द्वारा ऋण वितरित किए हैं। सरकारी योजनाओं।
Good afternoon to each one of you. I am Dr. V.K. Chaurasia from CPHU, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. As part of capacity building of states and ULBs, based on our 7 years mission learning and also class learning from each others, various experiences from various cities, Ministry is starting SwachhTalks webinar series where we will try to make capacity building of ULBs for faster implementation and faster achievement of goals. So first webinar series is SafaiMitra Suraksha in 100 lighthouse cities that we are starting today. And at the start of this webinar, first webinar, I welcome Joint Secretary and Mission Director, Ms. Rupa Misra, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. They are our partner in this SafaiMitra Suraksha development. Mrs. Yogita Swarup, Additional CEO, GEM, Mr. Y.K. Pathak, and state mission directors, almost 27 state mission directors, 29 state mission directors have joined, and also various municipal commissioners from the top 100 cities which performed well in mechanization in SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge held last year. I also welcome UMC representative and Director Swachh Bharat Mission, Mr. Binay Jha, and my colleague Mr. Rohit Kakkar, and all other my colleagues from SBM division, CPHO, and this PMU. So the very context of taking up this first topic under this webinar is that we are aware that there have been in the past years a number of premature deaths while cleaning up sewer and septic tank. If you see in last 2 decades, around more than 1,000 reporting cases are there where young people have lost their life. That is definitely not a thing that our country can accept that. And with more and more focus of our government on sanitation, whether it is on-site or off-site, this requirement of cleanliness is going to come. So keeping this in view, Ministry has launched the Swachh Bharat Mission 2 and also Amrut Mission 2. Both are managing used water and also septage also, where the requirement of cleaning in sewers and septic tank will be very much necessary. So if you see that a little bit, that as of now around 706 cities and towns are having partially or full sewerage systems, and others are based on these septic tanks where scheduled dislodging is taking place, and in many cases there is a requirement for cleaning. So to see that such type of happening or premature deaths do not take place, government has accorded it this priority and also funding various ULBs and states in procuring this equipments related to safety equipments or dislodging vehicles. So keeping all this view, the basic objective of today's webinar is that a institutional mechanism is put in place, by manpower and other requirements are also suitably placed in, and mechanization to the extent required, that is done, so that apart from infrastructure, human angle is also properly factored in managing sanitation of our ULBs. So the end goal I would like to mention here of today's webinar is that to eliminate that no death should take place because of hazardous cleaning of sewers and septic tank. And that's why we have to now learn, because a number of experiences are going to be shared today, where how our cities have done well some of the cities, and they have mechanized, they have given human touch to this cleaning angle, and this learning for the selected 100 cities will be help them to further strengthen their system as per protocol, and that will further spread to remaining ULBs. And the end goal, as I am mentioning, that this human angle and this true Jan Andolan in this our missions, that is a spirit of it that can be achieved. So this is we are trying through today's webinar, and today's outline is already, agenda is already available. You might have seen that. So according to that schedule, this first thing will be manhole to machine hole, that JS mission will be taking will be speaking on it, and then initiative of social justice will also be there. Similarly, GEM will also a little bit present that, and apart from that, cities will share their experiences, and UMC will also have compiled some best practices they will do. Apart from that, expectation of action plans, these things are briefly we are going to take up. So now I request JSSBM to please just enlighten the audiences on this manhole to machine hole transformation efforts of the ministry. Over to ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Suraksha ji. Namaskar. A warm welcome to my senior colleague from the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, partners from the government e-marketplace, municipal commissioners from 100 best functioning cities of the country who have been selected out of the SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge, partners of UMC, my colleagues in Swachh Bharat Mission, the national team, and very importantly, my state team colleagues and my key officials in the state mission directors. I welcome each one of you to the very first Swachh Talks of the webinar series that we have started under the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. And this is one of the numerous capacity building exercises and interventions that we will take up during this mission period. Friends, as we understand, when we are saying that this is the first of the series of webinar, from this itself, you can gauge the importance that the national government places on this topic of SafaiMitra Suraksha. We must also understand that when we say that a topic is important, there must be a base. What is the base of this topic? Is the base Swachh Bharat Mission? Is the base some kind of an announcement? What is the base? The base is the statute, and the statute is very clear. The Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers and the Rehabilitation Act 2013 has clear two dimensions. One dimension is about manual scavenging, and the other very important dimension with which we are concerned currently is hazardous entry, elimination of hazardous entry into septic tanks and sewers. As far as manual scavenging is concerned, thanks to different programs and interventions of the government, be it Government of India, initiatives of the state government, interventions by the district administration, the regulatory framework, NGO partnership, media awareness, we have moved a long distance. And today, the actual concern is about elimination of hazardous entry into septic tanks and sewers. So while the statute provides the framework, the statute prescribes the offense, the penalty, the legal provisions, it is in our hands to take it forward as national, state, and city bodies to actually see that it is implemented in the right sense and spirit. Having said that, I would also like to inform each one of you here that given the importance of this topic, there is a group of ministers here at the Government of India who give their advice and who oversee this particular aspect across the country. And this group of ministers on 19th of February prescribed and advised on a certain path that possibly can address this issue of dignity, safety of workers, and most importantly, the life of workers in this hazardous occupation. After that, with the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment and the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs being a key stakeholder of this, the National Action Plan for the Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem, the short form of which is Namaste, was rolled out with the leadership of the MOSHG, of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. And as part of different activities that Mohua took up, one important nudge activity that we took up was rolling out of the SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge on the 19th of October 2020. And in the meanwhile, CPHEO has come up with various standards, protocols, advisories that are required for this sector. For example, I was just having a look at the manual on sewerage and IS code on sewer entry. They've also come up with a compilation of all the standards and of equipments and machines that are there in the market, and more specifically, the government e-marketplace. There is also an advisory on the preventive maintenance of the sewers, along with concepts like ERSU, about which we will speak in details much later in this webinar. And as we moved ahead with the SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge for 1 year, what was the result? The result is all of you sitting here today. This SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge identified the 100 cities of the country who have the potential to move towards 100% mechanization, or wherever there is a man entry required where machines cannot enter, with due diligence and adherence of safety norms and protocol. So you have been chosen, and that is how the 100 cities who are part of this webinar here are sitting here today, and some of the best will be presenting and sharing their experiences. Now, you must be aware that the Honorable Finance Minister in the Union Budget speech of 2020 and 2021 has very specifically envisaged during the budget announcement that safety of the workers in these kind of professions shall be taken care of. And on 1st October 2021, when Honorable Prime Minister rolled out Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 and Amrit 2.0, these are schemes and programs that further take forward the commitment of the union government, and state governments and the cities are key stakeholders in these kind of missions that are tripartite missions. And I would compliment each one of you that each one of you has come forward within just 24 hours to sign a digital memorandum of understanding with the state governments and the government of India to actually work for garbage-free and water-secure cities. And while working for garbage-free and water-secure cities, one important component is safety, dignity of workers first. And when we say sanitation workers, our first important focus is on the core sanitation workers, who are the workers who have traditionally been cleaning the septic tanks and sewers. To promote technology, we rolled out the Swachh Startup Challenge. We also tried to mainstream it from the 246 competition cities to across the country by putting it as an integral part of the Swachh Sarvekshan 7th edition 2022. Right now, the field validation of Swachh Sarvekshan is going on, and we will get a sense when Sarvekshan gets over as to what is the preparedness across the country beyond this 100 and beyond this 246 to take forward this commitment of transition from manhole to machine hole. Since cities are sitting here and state mission directors are also sitting here, if I have to wrap up as to what is the task and the ask before us, these are the following few points. First, this has to be a priority of every state government. State mission directors who are sitting here, you will have to champion this cause. Safety of sanitation workers Elimination of hazardous entry has to be part of every state priority and a clear strategy. There are states like Odisha who have rolled out an action plan called Garima that takes care of 360 degrees of the core sanitation workers. Different other states could possibly come up with different kind of frameworks. Nonetheless, the bottom line is it has to be priority. We have to talk about it. We have to speak about it. We have to report about it, and we have to proactively engage in every 360-degree approach that is possible to prevent the fatality in this sector. Point number 2, when we are talking of actually having a roadmap, we must begin with institutional mechanism. And when we say institutional mechanism, we obviously have to see as to how cities will engage. How do we put, if there is a corporation here, of course, activity is happening. There could be a very small urban local body. How do we capacitate this kind of a body to also perform and do the basic activities? That could also be rural areas. How could we have an urban-rural convergence? Therefore, the institutional framework of a responsible sanitation authority and an emergency responsive sanitation unit, which could be either at the level of the municipal commissioner or at the level of the district, has been sort of advised. And we would request every state government and cities to first not just set up these institutional frameworks, but most importantly, activate them. They should know what is their role, and there has to be review of this as well. The third important thing that we have to do regarding this is equipment. Now, nowhere Government of India is asking you to mindlessly buy equipments and to store them. We do not want to create white elephants that we cannot maintain. Therefore, there will be different models. The first and the most preferred model of having mechanization is entrepreneurship and formalization of the informal sector. All those workers who were earlier or even currently working as sanitation workers have to be identified, promoted. The schemes of the Ministry of Social Justice must be utilized. Credit linkage must be done. We handhold them and we see that they move from being just a septic tank worker to an enterprise or to an entrepreneur. That's the first model. The other model that we strongly advocate is of empanelment of agency who could, depending on the reach, depending on the geography, the population, the kind of complexity, the geographical concerns, could look at a particular area. There could be a rate, and accordingly, these vendors or these private operators cater to a particular region. The third thing is the corporation or the city itself owning and having a mix of machines. Nowhere we are saying that invest only in robots. No, you need some basic equipments. There could be your cutters, there could be your jetting machines, there could be rodders. Possibly we could also invest in one kind of a machine that has a camera. But the idea is to have a mix of machines. So now every municipal commissioner who's sitting here will have to take this decision as to what is the mix of machines that you would like to have when you are talking of 100% mechanization. Entrepreneurial model, the empanelment model, and the self-owned ownership municipal corporation run model. Out of this, accordingly, you have your saturation framework. The fourth important point that has to be done in this sector is regarding men, which is most important. And here I will start with my first point when I speak of our workers. That is, they must be covered by the different social entitlements which are offered under different government schemes. That's the first thing. So while we will go ahead with the other topic, I would like to emphasize on this. All those cities who have done well have actually done well in integrating and converging the benefits arising, be it of a health scheme, be it of an insurance scheme, be it of a housing scheme, or a food security and education scheme and bringing it on a platform and actually ensuring that our SafaiMitras are socially secure. And the second point that we need to see where our men are concerned is about enumeration. You have to know as a commissioner, you have to know as a mission director, who are these core sanitation workers in my city? In most of the cases, wherever there is an unfortunate instance of a death, the response of the city is, ye to private tha. Somebody was just brought in and got into the sewer or the septic tank. No, that is not supposed to happen. We are discussing, we are acting so as to prevent this kind of a thing. For every city, the men or the people who will enter the septic tank in case of emergency shall be identified and listed. And they will be the ones who are trained. They have their protective equipment, the safety gears. They are trained well and they're equipped well and they do the task. This is what is the requirement. All those cities today who will be sharing best practices will also be saying as to how they are actually aware of who this worker is. The worker, this particular worker should not be a nameless, faceless entity for you. If you know who are your firefighters, if you know who are your health workers, how come you will not know who are these key core sanitation workers? Be it by through the agency, be it by through the vendor, be it by through the corporation roles, they have to have a name, they have to have a face, and they must be protected and taken care of. My next point regarding the asks and the tasks is regarding communication. No amount of communication is enough. No amount of communication and education will ever be enough. Even today, me as a citizen, you as a citizen, we probably would not even know that every 2 to 3 years, we should periodically maintain and have our septic tanks desludged. We reach out and call people only when there is choking, whereas there is a way to do it wisely and better. Therefore, starting from educating the private sector, the vendors, educating the workers, educating community, educating the political leadership, educating even the media, working with the NGOs, we have to have a constant communication strategy. A communication strategy that will show that you actually care and these are the provisions. And you have to do it constantly around the year. My next and the last point that I would like to highlight as part of the action plan is regarding the future, something which is there in the hands of the cities. When we have our building plan bylaws, it is very important that these safety parameters, these ISO norms are embedded into the building plan bylaws. Your specification of IS 2470 and certain norms which have been given by CPHO are well laid down. Important that not only these are provisioned for, but also must be enforced on ground. And I would now request that, having discussed about these things, what is it that I would expect from the 100 of you and the mission directors of these particular states who are present here? At the end of the SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge, there were only 6 cities that scored more than 90% of mechanization. Indore scoring the highest mark, which is 800 out of 1,000. All these 100 cities are at different scoring patterns. Basically, the cities that sit here are more than 40% mechanization. We would sincerely want and request each one of you, fix a timeline, fix a plan of action. We would want the 100 of you to be 100% mechanized. What is the time frame that you are going to take? Will you take 30 days? Are you already there? Will you take 60 days? One of you, by the end of this webinar, has to decide what is the kind of an action plan and a timeline that you will set for yourself and for your city to move to the top 100 of the country in actually being 100% mechanized, not 40, not 50, not 60. It will just not suffice. And to this effect, the Secretary, Mahua, has written to the Chief Secretaries asking for an action plan. And we have also shared a template with each one of you. We will give you about a week's time. And by the next week, I would request these 100 champion cities to list down their requirements, the state mission directors to spend some time truly having a look at it. And we would want a commitment from states and cities as to how much time you're going to take and what is the kind of additional resource that you require and from where are you going to mobilize it to become 100% mechanized city. More important than 100% mechanized city must be our commitment to ensure that there is zero fatality. So is XYZ city ready to come up with a pledge of a zero fatality as far as hazardous entry into septic tanks and sewers is concerned? My faith and belief on these 100 champion cities is tremendous, is very, very high. Therefore, I would request each one of you, please listen to the kind of best practices that 6 of our city partners are going to share with you. Please listen to what the interventions under the MOSHG on the Ministry of Social Justice and is there, which the senior colleague will be sharing with you. Also, please have a look at the kind of facilities which are there on the government e-marketplace. Listen to all these speakers who are there, then finalize your own action plan. And I will be personally looking forward to have a look at what each city is planning for itself, because you are our chosen 100. I wish each one of you the very best and have strong expectations that mission directors as well as city commissioners will actually move towards this zero fatality roadmap. And we should be able to showcase within the next 3 months tremendous work in these 100 cities. All the very best. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for highlighting efforts of Ministry and SafaiMitra Suraksha, as well as commitment of Government of India in this area. I hope the ma'am has highlighted 6 areas that will be helpful while finalizing action plan and making states priority all of them. Now I request Mrs. Yogita Swarup, Senior Economic Advisor from Ministry of Social Justice and Environment, to make her presentation. Yogita, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. And at the outset, I would like to first congratulate Joint Secretary Swachh Bharat Mission for excellent deliberation on the issue of the SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge, as well as the National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem, because this is where she has broadly highlighted what are the broad expectations of the Government of India for outlining a vision which cannot be completed without the active participation of the municipalities pan-India. So I would like to once again welcome all of you, and I have a small PPT because it helps me to structure my thoughts in a short time slot. So I'll be just sharing that with it. Is it visible to everybody? Is it visible to everybody?
Yet, ma'am.
The presentation visible to everybody?
Not yet, ma'am. Not yet.
Yet, ma'am.
Not yet, ma'am.
Should we present from our side, ma'am, if you're facing any issues, ma'am?
Share Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry for the hitch. Right. So See, at the outset of all my presentation and talks that I give across, I make it a point to highlight the difference between the manual scavenging and hazardous cleaning, a point that was also brought out by the Joint Secretary SBM. The manual scavenging, as you know, is an occupation which violates human dignity. And it means only a person who's engaged or employed by an agency for manually cleaning or disposing of human excreta into an insanitary toilet. And the other concept which we are actually concerned about is the hazardous cleaning. Now, hazardous cleaning, as you know, is the issue where anybody goes inside a sewer and septic tank without the protective gear and without the employer fulfilling his obligations to provide the protective gear and these cleaning devices and ensuring the observance of safety precautions which are there in the MS rules and the MS Act. So this is an issue that which needs to be addressed and which needs to be looked into very clear. We should actually have zero tolerance for this, that there should not be a single death for anybody who is going inside sewer septic tanks and losing his life. And that is one of the main reasons why this entire Safai Suraksha challenge, as well as the National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem, has been devised. So at the outset, I will also like to talk that why the government is focusing so much on the integration of these Safai Karamcharis. One is, of course, that we are also partners in the SDGs goals, that no one should be left behind in the social inclusion process. And the government is committed to empowering the marginalized sections through promoting of entrepreneurial models among them, and thereby blending the skill setup in them. And skill development program is an important area that must evolve to match this expectation of the government. And financial inclusion also, which is important for the delivery of the social services. So the politics or we can say the politics of an unjust and unequal society has to be now come out of that, and we have to realize more meaningful development outcomes. So because we're all working and we're talking about Safai Karamchari, so Safai Karamcharis has been very clearly defined in the NSKFDC's charter, which says it means a person who is including his or her dependents engaged in employment for sanitation work. It also includes waste pickers, but absolutely excludes domestic workers and manual scavengers. Nobody can be lifting human excreta by hand, and therefore a manual scavenger is not a Safai Karamchari. No one can be a manual scavenger. It's a banned activity, totally prohibited. Now, the sanitation workers plays multiple roles in a sanitation ecosystem. He is working as a FSM worker and cleaner sometimes, and he's also sometimes works as a sweeper. He's employed in government offices and other public sector premises or elsewhere. He could be a rag picker or waste picker who's sorting out and collection and recycling of waste product. And he could also be the SBM staff, Swachh Bharat Mission staff. His waste handling, sorting, and organization in the SWM chain. Sometimes they're also classified on the basis of the type of the hazards that they face during their work. If they are extremely hazardous cleaning, which involves sewer cleaning and septic tank cleaning, hazardous cleaning where individual community toilets and railway tracks are involved in cleaning, and non-hazardous, which is dry drain cleaning and waste segregation. So our main focus on all our programs would be on those persons who are engaged in hazardous and extremely hazardous cleaning operations. So we have some small statistics on sanitation workers, which are from the ACCC 2011 data, although I think it's quite outdated, but that was the last time they were properly enumerated by any government organization. So there are some rag pickers of this numbers, which is visible on the screen. So I will not dwell so much. So they are visible here for everybody to have a look. So what are the problems which are my SafaiMitras are facing? The problem areas and what are the main challenges that they are facing? Majority of these sanitation workers, they are not covered any part of any current social protection scheme of the government, or they don't have a knowledge of it, and they're deprived of the benefits under the scheme. They're primarily engaged as informal workers. They're hired by contractors at low and less than minimum wages sometimes, and they also find it difficult to switch to alternative work options. And the social, of course, the existing social protection frameworks, they are very limited and they are not able to address the basic need of these workers. And the manual engagement of these segment of workers, they have very limited access to mechanized equipment and mechanized cleaning operations, knowledge and skills. So situation of the sanitation workers in the FS are even more vulnerable. This is one of the areas where people go inside these sewer septic tanks and they get exposed to toxic gases. So they have a high risk of job due to exposure to toxic gases. They are in the unorganized setup. They are also facing caste, gender, and job-based stigmatization. and they have very limited access to social sector safety net coverage I've already talked about earlier. So what is the focus of the government? The focus of the government is to twin. One is to give them a dignified life, and to also give them better livelihood opportunities on the other side. When you talk of dignified life, it comes from very easy options. They must have some minimum wages, and they must get jobs throughout the year. They must have access to social safety benefits, whether it's health, whether it's pensions, whether there's skill training for themselves and their dependents. And they should be able to break this generational disadvantage, because they should not be in the same kind of occupation that they have been continuing for generations. They should be given opportunity to break away and to do something better if they want to. So, and the better livelihood opportunities, of course, are intertwined with the sustainable livelihood opportunities for sustainable livelihood options. So the Government of India, from the Ministry of Social Justice, is trying to help the SafaiMitras through three main broad interventions. One is a policy intervention. Then secondly, we have an institutional support system, and then we have the pragmatic support that we are offering to them. So as far as the policy intervention is concerned, that in the first part of the program, you've already had a small idea of that. That is the enactment of the Employment of Manual Scavengers and Consumption Dilaterants Act, which was later turned into the Prohibitive Act also of 2013. And then Government of India also, under the Ministry of Social Justice, did an identification program for identifying these manual scavengers. Some 58,098 of them were identified, and all of them were provided this one-time cash assistance under the scheme through a DPT module. Now, in the institutional support, we have some credit-based schemes of the National Safai Karamcharis Finance Development Corporations, which provides concessional rates of interest to the SafaiMitras and the dependents for income-generating activities. And the pragmatic support is under three-pronged heads. One is the PM Daksh Yojana, which the government has recently launched for skilling these Safai Karamcharis. It's a part of a larger ambit of other marginalized sections skilling program. And the Swachhta Udyami Yojana for pushing the mechanization, where we're trying to build entrepreneurial models to help and equip these Safai Karamcharis in better livelihood options, and also help the municipalities to procure safe and mechanized equipment for cleaning operation. And then lastly is the National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem, which was talked about earlier in the discussions. So the first part was the enactment of the Act, and the two SIR, which I've already talked about. And this is an outline of the broad schemes of the NSKFDC, which NSKFDC is running for the Safai Karamcharis to help them to enrich them in livelihood operations. And these are the broad schemes. The schemes have already been mailed by me to all the municipal commissioners across the country in their gov mail. And it's also available on the website of the Ministry of Social Justice and NSKFDC. So there are educational loans and various other schemes which are of the benefit. So I'll not to dwell so much on them, because they're already available, and I think most of the people know about it, and they can also access the website to gain knowledge about them. So the pragmatic support, as I talked about, is a loan-based rehabilitation scheme, and there is a non-loan-based schemes. So under the loan-based, we have the Swachhta Udyami Yojana, which we are running from this ministry. We have the Mahila Samriddhi Yojana and the Mahila Adhikarta Yojana. We also have the Green Business Scheme and microcredit schemes, as well as educational loan schemes, which are offering to these Safai Karamcharis and the dependents and base pickers also. The non-loan based schemes have various components, like we are organizing these awareness camps in municipalities throughout the country. We have so far organized over 841 such camps in the municipalities, where the sanitation inspectors, the Safai Karamcharis, and the municipal officers, as well as some public figures from local mayor, participate in the program, where these Safai Karamcharis are told about their rights, that what are their rights, what are the schemes the government is running for them, and what protective gear and what kind of safety measures they should also be adhering to while they are undergoing this hazardous cleaning campaign. Then we also organize job fairs for them across the country, where there again, we try to bring the industry partners along with the Safai Karamchari to the local level, so that they can get employment easily if they want to break away from this particular chain. And we're organizing the skill development programs for them. So this is the PM Daksh Yojana, which was launched by the government in August 2021, where we are providing a short-term skilling as well as the upskilling program. Now, in the upskilling program, we are jointly doing with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in the municipalities across India, where we are equipping and teaching these people how to do desludging operations and how to handle mechanized equipment. We have trained so far 6,000 such workers in our program, which was launched since last year. And we have also a short-term skilling program for them across. Now that we have a PM Daksh portal also and a PM Daksh mobile app, which can be downloaded from Google Store. And actually, this program is beneficiary centric. Any SafaiMitra can just log on to this. He can express his the interest of the area where he wants to do the skilling, and correspondingly the particular location he wants to do it. So the objective of the skilling program is to reach out to them at the place where they stay. So if somebody is there in Basti, we try to organize it in a place where he can where he has to do a minimal kind of distance from the place of his residence, so that they don't it doesn't hamper their work environment, and they can continue to do the skilling program along with the work there. Because sometimes they has an opportunity cost that many of them don't come forward for this program because they lose their daily wages for this. So this is the scheme that we run for manual scavengers in particular. And last year, the scheme was revamped to also include Safai Karamcharis. And they are also now eligible for the capital subsidy that we extend to manual scavengers for buying of sanitation-related equipment under the SwachhTalk Yojana. Now, this is the main focus that I wanted to talk about. That is, this is the scheme that we run, where we provide financial assistance for procurement operation of sanitation equipment like the garbage tippers, road sweeping machines, dewatering tanks, desilting machines, sewer cleaning machines. And the aim is to end totally manual cleaning of hazardous cleaning and to promote mechanization to the extent possible. In the SwachhTalk Yojana, we have facility for directly providing loan facilities to the sanitation workers. Here, the projects up to 15 lakhs are covered. The rate of interest is very minimal, 4%. And the government of India is offering a subsidy under the scheme of almost 5 lakhs for a 15 lakh machine. Now, we are also providing direct loans to the broadly, the scheme has been broadly explained in this, that for an individual, if the project cost for the machine is about 5 lakhs, the government of India is providing our front-end capital subsidy of 50% of the project cost. And for a 15 lakh machine, the maximum subsidy is 5 lakhs. So it's a very economically viable and very economically attractive scheme for any SafaiMitra to become entrepreneur in this thing. The only thing that we want is that municipalities give them work orders so that the machines they buy, and they have smaller kinds, and that they are giving work order in the municipalities where they function. Now, we are also directly funding the ULBs for procurement of machines. And although this is a very minuscule part of our operation on the NSKFDC, but the municipalities can also avail of loans for one particular one up to 50 lakhs, but they can avail of many such slots. They can buy 8 machines, they can buy 10 machines, depending upon the demand that they have in their respective municipalities. And also the rate of interest is very attractive. It's at only 4%. And there's a further repayment or rebate of 1% if there is timely repayment in this particular model. So these are some of the machines that we have given under the SwachhTalk run for the Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation. Like I have put one single photograph here, but many such municipalities across the country have participated. And we are still looking forward for more and more such municipalities to come forward to take loans directly from us and also assist the Safai Karamcharis in their respective areas so that they are also empowered in this whole scheme. And lastly is a national action plan for mechanized sanitation ecosystem, which we have jointly coined along with the Ministry of Housing Affairs and the Ministry and the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation and DPIIT. So the goals of the plan are very clear. There is modernization, where every municipality must try to modernize its sewer tank systems, its existing sewer systems. There is also the prevention part, where there is total elimination of human entry into sewer and septic tanks. No one should lose their lives for something like this. It's really it's like a slur on all of us that if somebody in this time and this period should go inside a sewer septic tank unprotected and lose his life. So there should be zero tolerance for this for all municipalities, that they should not allow anybody to go inside a sewer septic tank unprotected and without any plausible reason. Absolutely avoidance should be of this particular issue. And there is, of course, the rehabilitation angles for not only the manual scavengers who were erstwhile doing this activity, but also for the Safai Karamcharis who are still engaged in hazardous cleaning. And the strategies for achieving the goals have been into 5 main categories. There is modernization of existing sewer systems. There is tackling of non-sewer areas here. There is equipping the municipalities, local bodies by setting up the SRU, as well as the training and certification of sanitation professionals. And there is compulsory licensing for private cleaning agencies. So I think that is all that I had to say from my side from Ministry of Social Justice. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks for bringing out the vulnerable conditions under which SafaiMitra and Safai Karmis are working, and also efforts of Ministry of Social Justice on empowering marginalized, and also skill development efforts of Ministry of Social Justice, so that they can also have dignified life and better opportunities in their coming generation and their coming people in their family. And for that, the interventions that you have mentioned, ma'am, related to policy, institutional, and programmatic, I think ULB can take advantage by clubbing with various other missions and helping the marginalized class so that they can have better life and job opportunity, and the safety and dignity that is committed by Government of India is actually they can enjoy that. So thank you, ma'am. After that, I would like to request Sri YK Pathak, additional CEO GEM, to share the GEM initiative on mechanization of dislodging and equipments related to this SafaiMitra. Mr. Pathak ji.
Good evening and namaskar. What is GEM? First, actually, we want to throw some light on the GEM procurement. What is GEM? Whether GEM is an e-procurement, only an e-procurement platform, or whether it is more than e-procurement platform. Actually, GEM is a cashless, contactless, and paperless one-stop online procurement portal for all government buyers, including central government buyers, CPSC, state government buyers. So this portal was launched in August 2016 with aim to provide buyer and enhance efficiency, transparency, inclusiveness in public procurement. And it also provides the tools of e-bidding, reverse auction, and direct procurement to facilitate government users to achieve the best value for their money. So this is with this background, we will go with some slides related with the prepared for this presentation. So this is our first slide. This is our GEM journey, how we have reached to this stage. As on date, we have crossed 1 lakh crore ton procurement target for this financial year. We have a total number of 40 lakh sellers on GEM portal, 9,779 categories, product categories, 226 service categories, and 59,204 buyers in this portal. Now, second slide, if you see this, this is related with the procurement of the Swachh Bharat items through GEM portal. So far, the total procurement of 4,000 crores have been done by the local, urban local bodies through GEM. And the main equipment, top 10 equipment, you can say that hopper, tipper, dumper, waste container, backhoe loader, refuse compactor, mobile toilet, e-cart. These are the top 10 procurement items which have been procured by the state, local, urban bodies. Now, what we have done to facilitate the procurement of these items, Swachh Bharat items, we created a separate page in our GEM portal under the heading of Swachh Bharat Mission Equipment, and various equipments have been kept there under this page. And whenever any buyers want to procure any items related with the Swachh Bharat mission, the buyer come open this page and select the items and go for the procurement for the particular items. The next, procurement of services. As we have already told that around more than 200 services are available on GEM. And these services you can buy directly from GEM by through bidding process, through direct procurement process or through L1 comparison. In this services, MSC preference has been enabled. Splitting option is there. Online invoicing and payments are also available in all the services. You can go for the L1 negotiation feature. We have also created ATC, buyer-specific ATC library, where all the terms and conditions related with that buyer have been put. If any buyer comes for creating the bid, he can choose the terms and conditions from the ATC library and create the bid according to their requirement. And then option has also been provided for multiple consignee supply at multiple consignee locations, and it is quantity wise. Option has also been provided for the L1 and LCS method of evaluation. And also in some of the services, we have provided this QCBS method for the evaluation purpose. Some of the relevant services we have are there, just like waste management services. Under this parent services, there are 3 child services: biomedical waste management services, collection and disposal waste management services, e-waste management services. And then hiring of earth moving equipments, material handling equipments and cranes, cleaning and sanitation and disinfection services are outcome based, as well as outsourced, as well as manpower based, both are available on them. So manpower resource outsourcing services are also available. Some of the services that we think that that will be useful in your for you, that those services are housekeeping services, healthcare sanitation services, facility management services. These are and this is the last one, is the very important. This is the custom bid for the services. If you want to procure any services which is not available on the GEM portal, then you can go for this custom bid option, where you can create your own bid, your own specification, your own terms and conditions. It is just like a RFP builder, and then you can float the tender on GEM portal. So this is a very important facility which has been given by the GEM to the buyers. If they find that their product or their services are not available on GEM portal, then they can use this custom bid facility for services. The same is also been created for the products also. So the next slide is that account management. We have dedicated nodal officers for aligning with the central government organization, CPSC, state government organization, state CPSC. We are conducting regular trainings for the buyers, our buyers, whether they are the state buyers, whether they are the central government buyers, whether they are the CPSC buyers. We have also conducting online trainings. There is a training calendar in our GEM website, so any buyer can come and register himself for the training. And if there is no date available, we can also arrange training for group of buyers on the request of buyer organization. So this is our regular feature. Capacity building criteria we have already discussed. Monitoring and regular review of procurement outside GEM done at the ESCO-GEM meetings. We are ESCO-GEM committee in all the ministries, where during that ESCO-GEM meeting we discussed the difficulties faced by the buyers of their ministries or organization, and the solutions are provided by the GEM for the problems faced by the buyers. As far as quality of the product being bought through GEM portal, we have given various options to buyer to ensure the quality assurance. That first is vendor assessment through QCI. We have engaged Quality Council of India for vendor assessment purpose, and only After successful vendor assessment, service provider or seller can list their product on the GEM. We have also done with the buyer and seller ratings. And suppose if in case any seller doesn't perform as per the contract or doesn't give the quality product to the buyer, then buyer can raise incident, and as per incident management policy available on GEM portal, the action will be taken against those the defaulted seller or the service provider. Under this policy, the seller can be blacklisted for up to 6 months or for 9 months. Then available features and functionality with GEM. So procurement enabled for products and services. You can buy product as well as services through GEM. There is MSME reservation, micro small enterprise reservation, and also MII preference available. Option for reverse auction is there. Provision for staggered delivery. Suppose you don't want product in a one go, you want that the product should be supplied in the installment, then you can select this staggered delivery mechanism available on GEM. Rich library, we have created a rich library of additional terms and conditions. You can choose one of the conditions from our library and create the bid. We have also given this functionality for putting your own terms and conditions if it is not available in the library. That can also be put in the while creating the bid by you. Provision, we have also given the provisions for seeking clarification during technical evaluation. And because that one more functionality is given in our portal, which is very, I think this is the USP of this portal. Under this, you can, under this, if buyer or if bidder or seller is not satisfied by any conditions or clause, then buyer can raise the representation, and that seller can raise the representation, and the representation will be examined by the buyer, and then only he can move ahead. Then you can split the requirement. If you don't want to give the whole requirement to a single seller or single service provider, you can split your requirement. This functionality is also available on the GEM portal. Capacity based bidding functionality is also available. Suppose your requirement is for 5,000 pieces, and L1 is not able to give you 5,000, they are able to give you only 1,000, then rest 4,000 you can give to the higher bidder as per their capacity. So this option is also given in the capacity based bidding. Price variation feature is also there. AMC CMC bundle with the product. Suppose if you are buying any product along with the annual maintenance contract or along with the comprehensive maintenance contract, then you can bundle these services AMC and CMC along with the procurement and float the bid for that particular product along with the AMC and CMC services. Bid evaluation is done online and award is also done on the portal. So all solutions of procurement is available in this portal, from floating a bid or from publishing a bid to making the payment. So PFMS, we have also integrated our system with PFMS and GPA. PFMS is the public fund management system, and GPA is the GEM pool account system. Wherever PFMS is not available, we ask buyer to arrange the GPA so that we can ensure the timely payment to the service provider or the sellers. We are also integrating our system with state IFMS, and so far 4 states have integrated with our GEM under this scheme. So next we are discussing the way forward, how we can move and how can we help, or how can we can move ahead with this with the aim to procure the items on the GEM portal. So we can create a dedicated SafaiMitra Suraksha page on GEM portal. So where you can come and select your item. All the items related with the SafaiMitra Suraksha will be available on this page. You come there and you can select your item for procurement and go ahead for that procurement for that particular items. We are also proposing regular engagement with the ministry for Swachh Bharat Mission and SafaiMitra Suraksha. We have already done a lot of work for Swachh Bharat Mission with the Ministry of Housing and Urban. And we also proposing that we have appointed a nodal officer from GEM side to discuss and resolve all the issues related with the procurement of the SafaiMitra Suraksha or any procurement related with the Swachh Bharat Mission program. So another thing we have this searching of any product. Actually, so this is a search option. I think needs some modification. So what we have suggested that suppose you suggest some keywords for particular items, and then we will incorporate all those keywords in our category, so that whenever you buyer or you come on the SafaiMitra page, and if you just put that keyword on that page, so you will get that item automatically searched by the system. So this is some of the proposal we are moving forward for procurement on GEM for these items. And as we have already spoken and discussed, that we are organizing training, seminars and workshops for various central government departments, CPSC, the state government departments. So same can be done for the for this SafaiMitra program or Swachh Bharat Mission program, and we are having teams at state level. Those teams can spokes can be utilized by your department, and they will help you in making the bid. And if you feel any technical or any problem related with the category creation or with any terms and conditions, that those spokes will help you out in carrying out the procurement for these items. So thank you very much. These are all about the GEM government e-marketplace in a short.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Pathakji. For cities, procurement of various items and services has been one of the challenging things. Through GEM portal, these things have been now very, very easy. Once I could interact with some of the these equipment manufacturers, they were even mentioning that more than 90% order they are getting through GEM portal only. So this is really a commendable job, and it will make things and procurement of services and products very easier. We are also very much thankful that this separate page is being brought for the Swachh Bharat Mission, and also a subsection for SafaiMitra Suraksha, the related matters. So I hope all ULBs will and states will take advantage of it, and whatever the requirement of mechanization is there, they will do at very faster pace. So with this, now we will start the experience of cities. So in all 6 cities are going to present 10 minutes each. I will request from Indore, Miss Pratibha Pal, to share their experiences. Miss Pratibha Pal.
Indore, we don't have your audio.
Mute.
Yes.
फिर से करिए. You had come. I think again we lost you.
So while Indore gets ready, if we are not getting it in this one trial, we can go to the next city and then come back to Indore.
Yes, ma'am. Then we can request Navi Mumbai, Mr. Abhijit Bangarji. In between Indore can be, our team can help Indore to be ready, and we can start with Navi Mumbai, Mr. Abhijit Bangarji.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. Could the host confirm if I am audible, please?
Yes, you are audible.
Right.
You are audible, please.
Is the presentation? Can you see the presentation, please?
Yes, it is visible. Please go ahead.
Yes. Right. I'll start. I am presenting on behalf of Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation. Next slide, please. The way presentation has been structured is on the basis of the format which was given for today's workshop. Next, please. To give you an overview of Navi Mumbai, Navi Mumbai is a city with an area of 110 square kilometer. We have 15 lakh population. The water supply which is provided is around 450 MLT. We have a dam which is owned by corporation. Regarding Swachhata, we have a very robust system of 100% collection, transportation of solid waste, and a very good system of scientific disposal of waste as well. We have more than 400 community and public toilets and 7 sewage treatment plants. And we have more than 500 kilometer length of stormwater drain. Navi Mumbai has the advantage of being a plant city. In terms of mobility, 60% of that fleet is electric and CNG, and we have a plan of converting the whole fleet to 100% electric or CNG over the period of next 3 years. We are the only city in Maharashtra to be certified with 5-star as well as Water Plus certification. We have more than 225 gardens, and we are very happy to mention here that the ratio of citizen to number of trees in the city is 4:3, and we will soon be will achieve a tag of 1 tree behind every person in Navi Mumbai, and that we are hoping to do this year itself. And lastly, we are presently on the journey of from Swachhata to Sundarta, because we already have achieved so many things in Swachhata, but over the period of last 2 years, we have been carrying out extensive drive throughout the city as far as beautification is concerned. No single wall in the city is there in Navi Mumbai which is not beautified, and that's why we are getting very good response from people as far as beautification activities are concerned. Regarding SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge, to give you the glimpse of existing status of sanitation infrastructure in the city, we have a well-planned underground sewage network which caters to about 99% of the population of the city. No household in Navi Mumbai is having septic tank. The only septic tanks which we have are related to our community toilets. Regarding maintenance of our community as well as public toilets, we have a system of comprehensive contract which ensures not just cleanliness but overall maintenance, including equipments and the other maintenance of the toilets. And that's why we have been able to follow very high standards of maintenance of community as well as public toilets. We have 7 sewage treatment plants in the city, which cater to the population of almost 30 lakh. Presently, we have 15 lakh population, but we have a provision of catering to up to double the population which we have presently in terms of sewage treatment. 2 of our treatment plants are being converted into tertiary treatment, and Navi Mumbai is a city which is having MID, the industrial area around the city, and we already have tied up with Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation, and from 31st March onwards this year, we are planning to provide 40 MLD water to industries, treated water. And the best part is the presently industries are run on the fresh water they are drawing out of dam, and the treated water which we'll be providing will be cheaper than the what they are paying for the fresh water. So this recycle component of sewage water is also being taken care of in a very good manner here. As far as mechanized cleaning of sewer line and septic tank is concerned, we have a very good system. We don't have any private operator in the city, and provision of septic tank with soak pit is made for at only 42 locations, which are the community toilets in the city. The machinery available in the city is of a varying nature, starting from very advanced machinery like hydrovac equipment for suctioning, jetting as well as recycling, to we have machinery which can which we can use for desilting, desludging. Then we have started using sewer inspection camera apparatus to detect the cause of choking up in lines without compromising the safety. So this a new addition which we have done. Then we have machinery which we use for rodding apparatus, as well as we have machinery for hydraulic sewer root cutters. These are few of the photographs. These are few of the photographs of machinery. I just mentioned about hydrovac equipments. So these are few of the photographs. This is a very advanced kind of machinery. The orange tube which we see here is used for jetting, as well as the gray tube which we are seeing here is used for recycling. The same machinery is used for jetting, suctioning as well as recycling. The specific measures we have taken for SafaiMitra Suraksha, the first component was about institutional setup. We have a sanitation response unit existing in our corporation headquarters, which we use to resolve complaints raised by citizens. We already have a very robust system of grievance redressal, which has an inbuilt automatic escalation matrix if the complaint is not crossed at the base level, just to ensure SLS. Then regarding improvement of manpower, we don't have any informal workers associated with sewage cleaning. We have sufficient manpower available for septic tank as well as sewerage line cleaning. The training of mechanized cleaning and safety measures are periodically undertaken. And most importantly, when we speak of safety of SafaiMitras, we generally provide them important necessary safety gears, but more important aspects are related to the quality of safety gears we are providing, the feedback we need to take from them in terms of ease of use of that safety gear, and how comfortable those safety gears are to that SafaiMitras while they are using that. So these aspects are being taken care in provision of safety gears. As far as mechanization, improvement mechanization in new procurement is concerned, I just mentioned that we have a robust system of machinery available here. We have introduced a system of level transmitters for our septic tanks. The levels of septic tanks can be monitored using these level transmitters, and most importantly, those can be monitored centrally. We have alarm system as well, wherein we get an alarm if the septic tank is getting filled to the level of 75 to 80%. And new addition is in terms of root cutter machine as well as sewer inspection cameras, and 34 rodding machine, which we can see on the screen. Rodding machine are also introduced for taking care of small choke-ups in the sewer lines. Capacity building and welfare measures of SafaiMitras is a very important aspect. Health camp and eye checkup camp are being arranged for every 3 months for SafaiMitras and most importantly their family members too. When we speak of welfare activities of for SafaiMitras, the insurance scheme is a very important aspect. We don't just need to take care of their health. We need to make them confident about their well-being as well, and that's why Mediclaim is being introduced for welfare of SafaiMitras as well as their family members. We have a scholarship programs set up for children of all staff in social using our social welfare department. As we just mentioned, training camps for safety, security, and emergency response is being organized, and we have started a system of giving out monthly award and recognition and felicitation of this SafaiMitras on very important occasions like Gandhi Jayanti, Independence Day, and any program which we undertake. Involvement of stakeholders is a very important aspect. In terms of involvement of stakeholders, the training programs which we are carrying out are through certified empaneled trainers. And the most important aspect about SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, unless we reach out to citizens in terms of the activities we are undertaking, unless they are aware of what we are doing, these kind of objectives which are envisaged in the program will not be achievable. So we are using the network of NGOs in order to approach citizens and taking our message towards for participation of citizens. When we speak of ecosystem for preventive and maintenance as well as wider structural reforms of SafaiMitras, it starts from mechanized cleaning of sewer line and septic tank. Then provision of allowances, medical insurance, PF facility. These are very important aspects because many of our SafaiMitras are associated with contractors, not directly working with corporation. And that's why taking care of these issues assume very much importance. Then there is then provision of PPE kit, distribution of safety equipment, certified training for safety and mechanized cleaning, and entrepreneurship development program. This is again a very important aspect by providing loans at subsidized rates. So as a part of SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, we have been arranging loan melas throughout the city, and as a result of these loan melas, new business opportunities are being created for the SafaiMitras, and they are participating directly, not just as a SafaiMitra, as an entrepreneur as well. I'm sharing some of the photographs of PPE kit distribution as well as training program which were arranged for SafaiMitras. In terms of good practices, I would like to mention about the monitoring of sewer cleaning using the sewer cameras. These cameras are installed on the jetting machine and it helps to a great extent in terms of cleaning of choked up sewer lines. And again, to mention here, the digital monitoring of level transmitters of septic tanks. This has been very helpful, whatever limited number of septic tanks we are having, but this system is very helpful in ensuring that there is no seepage, there is regular maintenance of these septic tanks. Awareness, as I just mentioned, is a very important aspect. Various activities we have been undertaking in terms of awareness of SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge. One of the examples is in terms of SafaiMitra mascot and innovative use of it, as well as various awareness campaigns through advertisements using our buses. The message of SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, Jano Mano Thano, as well as Suraksha Nahi to Safai Nahi. These messages are being given in a vernacular language. Electric display boards, on paintings, these are being provided. Last two slides. In terms of health checkup, we have been taking help of various NGOs like Heart Foundation and for capacity building agencies like Kam Abhida. For future plans of SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, Honorable JS Ma'am had mentioned while setting the context about zero fatality roadmap. We are very proud to say that the kind of infrastructure we have in Mumbai, we have been able to ensure zero fatality of SafaiMitra, and we are trying to go one step ahead to ensure overall well-being, health of not just SafaiMitras but their family members too. Our objective is to move towards 100% sewer network and septic tank free city, which we are planning to achieve very soon. We plan to enhance safe working conditions by using technology. Introduction of innovative technology is a key in terms of cleaning of sewage lines as well as septic tanks, and that we are trying to achieve. In terms of health facility being provided to Safai Mitras, additional advanced kind of health facilities are being provided. For example, we observe that few people among Safai Mitras were reporting in larger extent, were reporting complaints of calcium deficiency. So tests like bone density are being carried out, and these kind of medical facilities are being introduced. In terms of entrepreneurship development program, the loan melas have been very popular, very successful, and new business opportunities are getting created. And lastly, and most importantly, through this value-based intervention, our objective is to ensure human dignity and abolish the social stigma associated with the work, which very important work which Safai Mitras do. Whatever program corporation undertakes in Navi Mumbai, we have a motto of never felicitating any of the officers or anybody who is sitting on the dais, but we make sure that in every program we have a team of Safai Mitras and they are given recognition by felicitating them. So the kind of job they are doing, that needs to be mainstream, and we need to recognize and express our gratitude explicitly. So I'll end with ma'am, with your permission, a 50-second video which we have started for promotion of our activities. Please. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Navi Mumbai. I think our cities will find it very, very encouraging, be it 100% moving towards sewer network and without septic tank, whether institutional setup or grievance and mechanization capacity building, all these things will be definitely helping you a lot. And to take this initiative in your city, I think Indore is ready. We can request Indore to now start their presentation.
I will request the cities to stay back because there are questions for you also, which we will take up in the open house.
Indore. Ma'am, Pratibha ma'am, you are your presentation is ready, ma'am. I got information.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
आप प्लीज कंटेंट शेयरिंग परमिशन ताकि मैं पीपीटी शेयर कर सकूं.
Archita, if you are hearing, please make co-host. Already it is co-host, I think.
Yes, now I get it. Good afternoon, Commissioner. इंदौर की जो ये सक्सेस स्टोरी है, इसमें मैं इंदौर की स्टोरी प्रेजेंट कर रही हूँ. इंदौर का जो पॉपुलेशन है वो 29 लाख और उसके साथ में फ्लोटिंग पॉपुलेशन 3 to 4 लाख ईच एंड एवरी डे. 85 वार्ड्स में, am I audible? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So 5 वार्ड्स में अपना इंदौर शहर है. इसमें हम लोगों का जो 100% IHHL कवरेज है थ्रू 3 मोड्स, 100% का connection coverage है. Then we have 2,100 individual household toilet with twin pits. और उसके अलावा हम लोगों के पास 500 सेप्टिक टैंक हैं विद सोकेज पिट। सीवर क्लीनिंग का जो शेड्यूल है, फीकल स्लज मैनेजमेंट का जो शेड्यूल है, वो उसके बारे में मैं आगे बात करूंगी। सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज की लॉन्चिंग के बाद में जो पैराडाइम शिफ्ट हुआ आइडियोलॉजी में, वो बेसिक जो सर्वेक्षण से पहले जब स्वच्छ सर्वेक्षण लॉन्च हुए इन 2016, उसके बाद से बहुत सारी चीजें इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे लोगों ने लगातार काम किया, लेकिन इस कमिटमेंट के साथ में कि मेन होल्स को मशीन होल्स में शिफ्ट किया जाए, जितने भी वर्कर्स हैं, हम लोग जो फील्ड टीम है, उनकी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, उनके वेलफेयर मेजर्स के बारे में बात सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज लॉन्च होने के बाद शुरू हुई। दिस इज टूल जो वंस का सिनेरियो सैनिटेशन या फिर सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हम लोगों के पास भी नहीं था। 2016 टू 2022 इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल पर हम लोगों ने ध्यान दिया। 2020 में सब चेंज 20 में लॉन्च हुआ क्लीनिंग, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, वेलफेयर मेजर्स, इन चीजों पर ध्यान दिया गया, जिससे यूएलबी स्टाफ का जो ट्रस्ट था यूएलबी के साथ में, इंदौर म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के साथ में, वो एनहांस हुआ। ये फर्स्ट स्टेप था सफाई सुरक्षा चैलेंज में। हम लोगों ने जब 14420 हेल्पलाइन को सेटअप किया, उसके व्हाट्सएप नंबर कॉल सेंटर बनाया गया, जिसमें बेसिकली न सिर्फ सफाई मित्र की जो इश्यूज थे उनको लगा, बल्कि उनको इश्यूज क्लीनिंग ऑफ सीवर लाइंस या क्लीनिंग ऑफ सेप्टिक टैंक या फिर ट्विन पिट की एम्प्टिंग, इन सभी चीजों को इस पर लिया गया। इंदौर ने बस एक चीज और की कि इसमें हम लोगों ने अपना जो सिटी ऐप, जो 311 स्वच्छता ऐप भी है, इसके साथ में 140 का इंटीग्रेशन किया है, जिसके जरिए हम लोग आसानी से अपनी मॉनिटरिंग कर पाते हैं और लोगों को ये ऐप के थ्रू भी 14420, दिस इज आवर डिजिटल मैकेनिज्म। टेक्नोलॉजी वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में आने के बाद सफाई मित्रों का जो हैंडलिंग ऑफ वेस्ट था वो इम्प्रूव हुआ, जिसने उनकी फिजिकल और मेंटल कंडीशंस को इम्प्रूव किया। और जो लोग पहले मेन होल्स में उतर के सफाई करते थे, उनका जो आइडेंटिटी, रेस्पेक्ट और डिग्निटी थी, उसको सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज के बाद पर रिवर्स हुआ। जो कमेंट था यूएलबी का, वो बेसिकली इस ओर शिफ्ट हुआ। दिस इज इंस्टीट्यूशनल सेटअप फॉर सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट एज वेल एज सैनिटेशन। ट्रेनिंग इम्प्रूवमेंट पास आपके लिए हम लोगों ने ट्रेनिंग्स किए। ट्रेनिंग्स क्वार्टरली के अलावा कुछ मंथली ट्रेनिंग्स भी किए गए। ट्रेनिंग में हम लोगों ने ध्यान दिया कि जो प्रेजेंटेशन के अलावा ट्रेनिंग हैंड्स ऑन भी रहे, जिसमें लोगों को इक्विपमेंट्स कैसे होल्डिंग कैसे करनी है, यूज कैसे करने हैं, ये सभी सफाई मित्रों को भली प्रकार से पता रहे। जैसे पहले जब हम लोग सीवर के मेन होल्स का कवर अनकवर करते थे, तब कोई ये ध्यान नहीं रखता था कि उसमें से जो मीथेन निकलेगी वो कितनी हार्मफुल होती है। लेकिन गैस आने के बाद अब जब भी चैम्बर्स ओपन कहीं भी किए जाते हैं, तो गैस डिटेक्ट से पहले गैस डिटेक्ट होता है, उसके बाद ही वो लोग ना काम शुरू करते हैं। ये कुछ ट्रेनिंग फोटोग्राफ्स हैं। इसके अलावा नेशनल मेंटल वर्कशॉप एक में जितने भी फीमेल वर्कर्स थे, उनके इस इशू बात की गई, और हम लोगों को भी ये बहुत आई ओपनर था, जिसमें कई सारे इश्यूज, स्पेशली जो फील्ड वर्कर्स हैं, जो मॉर्निंग से काम शुरू करते हैं। इन जनरल सभी यूएलबीज में जो काम का टाइम है, चाहे सैनिटेशन वर्कर्स का हो या सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में लगे हुए वर्कर्स का हो, मॉर्निंग से स्टार्ट होता है फ्रॉम 6 और 5:30। तो बहुत सारे मिनिस्ट्रियल हाइजीन से जुड़े हुए इश्यूज आए, जिसमें हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स ने उनसे बात की, कई सारे पॉइंट्स आए, कई सारे सोल्यूशंस आए। बहुत सारे सीएसआर पार्टनर्स ने उनके साथ में हैंड इन हैंड काम किया, तो इससे भी उनका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डअप हुआ। इसके अलावा रेगुलर सफाई मित्र हेल्थ चेकअप सभी जगह हम लोगों ने लगातार किए। मैकेनाइजेशन जो क्लीनिंग का कैलकुलेटर, जो सीपीयू कैलकुलेटर बताता है कि हमारे पास नॉर्म्स के अकॉर्डिंग कौन सी मशीन्स किस नंबर में होनी चाहिए। इंदौर म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के पास ये रिक्वायर्ड नंबर से ज्यादा मशीन्स हैं मैम। जैसा आपने कहा कि हम लोग ये तय करें अपने लिए कि किस दिन हम 100% मशीन होल्स पे शिफ्ट होंगे, तो मैम हमारे पास जो मशीनरी है वो ऑल इक्विप्ड, बट मैम एक और पॉइंट है कि हमारे यहाँ जो भी मशीनरी है वो ज्यादातर फोकस करती हैं चैम्बर क्लीनिंग पर। लाइन क्लीनिंग की बात अभी भी हमारे यहाँ कम होती है, या फिर हमारे पास बहुत कम मशीन्स लाइन क्लीनिंग की अवेलेबल हैं। तो हम लोग आगे जो नया प्रोक्योरमेंट करने जा रहे हैं उस पर फोकस कर रहे हैं, वो लाइन क्लीनिंग मशीन्स की है। चैम्बर क्लीनिंग मशीन हम पे ऑलमोस्ट जो टारगेट है उससे ज्यादा है। ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और टाइप की यूनिफॉर्म है जिसमें सीवरमैन की है, सुपरवाइजरी स्टाफ की है, और एक जो सीवेज कमांडोज हैं जिन्हें एसआरयू की परमिशन से जो सीवर चैम्बर्स में उतरते हैं उनके लिए अलग इक्विपमेंट। इंदौर ने फोकस किया कि लोकल जो इवेंट सोल्यूशन है जिसमें कॉस्ट ऑल्टरनेटिव्स रहें, ताकि सीवर क्लीनिंग के जो महंगे इक्विपमेंट है उनका हम लोग कुछ ऑल्टरनेटिव तैयार कर सकें। के लिए अपने ये ट्राइसाइकिल बेसिकली रीयूज की गई है पुरानी साइकिल को, ट्राइसाइकिल को, जिसमें कि एक पावर बकेट लगा हुआ है पुली के साथ में जो आसानी से चैम्बर को क्लीन करता है। एक दूसरा लोकल इनोवेटिव सोल्यूशन मैकेनिकल फावड़ा का था। पहले एक रस्सी में बाल्टी बांध करके चैम्बर में डाल से बहुत सिप जो निकालते थे, उसमें बहुत पानी भी बाहर आता था और बहुत इनकन्वीनियंट भी रहता था। उसकी जगह पर मैकेनिकल फावड़ा का इनोवेशन किया गया, जो इस समय हमारे यहाँ लोकल इनोवेटिव सोल्यूशन में सबसे ज्यादा यूज होने वाला इक्विपमेंट। ये साथ ही क्लीनिंग रॉड्स भी यूज की गई। जैसा मैंने बताया कि क्लीनिंग के हमारे पास बहुत सारे इक्विपमेंट्स होते हैं, क्लीनिंग होते हैं और इनका होता है जॉय साथ में आगे आगे इनको जितना भी चाहे उतना करके इसको यूज किया जा सकता है। पहले इसकी जगह बैम्बू स्टिक्स यूज होते थे, जो कहीं अगर लाइन चोक है तो उसमें बैम्बू स्टिक्स डाल के यूज करते थे, जो बीच में टूट जाते थे और बहुत इनकन्वीनियंट होते थे। इसी तरीके से एक लोकल इनोवेशन सोल्यूशन ट्रैश क्लीनर का भी है, जो हमारी वाटर बॉडीज है या रिवर स्ट्रेचेस हैं, जो अभी मार्केट में अवेलेबल ट्रैश क्लीनर है, हम लोग अगर रहे हैं इसको 11 लाख पर मंथ का रेंट पे करते हैं, या फिर उसका जो मार्केट कॉस्ट है सिर्फ 12 लाख रुपए बन के तैयार हुई है और ये वैसे ही काम कर रही है। इसमें एक फ्लोटिंग के लिए ड्रम्स यूज किए गए हैं, एक हाइड्रोलिक सिस्टम यूज किया लगा हुआ है, तो बहुत चाहिए और 11 लाख में बन के तैयार है। ये मशीन के लिए हम आदेश रहे हैं कि बाकी यूएलबीज के लिए भी बनाए। ये कुछ यूएलबीज पार्टनर हैं जिन्होंने इन लोकल इनोवेटिव सॉल्यूशंस को हमारे यहाँ से लिया है। कैपेसिटी और वेलफेयर मेजर्स में एक जो इम्पोर्टेंट इंटरवेंशन आईएमसी ने किया है कि सीएसआर के बहुत सारे जो पार्टनर्स थे उन्होंने सिम्बॉयसिस और अब यहाँ लोकल जो कॉलेजेस के साथ में मिलकर ये किया है कि जितने भी सफाई मित्रों के बच्चे हैं, अगर उनके वो बच्चे कोई कोर्स करना चाहते हैं तो उसको सीएसआर फंड करेंगे और सिम्बॉयसिस कॉलेज उसको कम रेट पर अपने यहाँ एडमिट कर रहे हैं। हमारे यहाँ से 9 बच्चे मित्रों के एडमिट हुए हैं इन कॉलेजेस में। इसके अलावा ये गवर्नमेंट बेनिफिट स्कीम्स है जो सभी जगह हम लोग अपने हर सफाई मित्र को देते हैं। लोन मेला एसयूवाई का जो है वो एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट फीचर सफाई चैलेंज का जो हमला किया था, उस समय इसमें 2000 से ज्यादा लोगों ने पार्टिसिपेट किया था और लगभग 2.60 का लोन डिसबर्स हुआ है। मेन स्ट्रीमिंग पे जो आईएमसी ने काम किया है 887 इनफॉर्मल वेस्ट पिकर्स हमारे यहाँ सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में थे, जिसमें जिन्हें हम लोगों ने यूएलबी में ही मेन स्ट्रीमिंग में ले लिया है और वो अब या तो एमआरएफसी का काम देखते हैं या फिर में कंपनी के लिए सुपरवाइजरी स्टाफ की तरह काम करते हैं। इसमें 75 इंफॉर्मेशन वर्कर्स थे जो पहले इधर उधर काम करते थे या कहीं प्राइवेट सीवर क्लीनिंग का काम करते थे, उनको भी हम लोगों ने के थ्रू क्लीनिंग स्टाफ की तरह लिया हुआ है। हमने कोशिश की कि इनोवेटिव सोल्यूशन ज्यादा ध्यान दें ताकि मशीन्स आती हैं जिनका ऑपरेशन और मेंटेनेंस स्पेशली बहुत मुश्किल होता है, तो उनको हम लोग शिफ्ट कर सके। ये मेंटरशिप के कुछ प्रोग्राम्स हैं। एसयूवाई लोन्स में एनएसकेएफडीसी से हम लोगों ने लगातार कोऑर्डिनेट करते हुए 60 केसेस को सैंक्शन कराया है और जिसमें से 16 व्हीकल्स को हम लोगों ने आईएमसी में एम्पैनल किया हुआ है और 44 व्हीकल्स अभी प्रिकर्ड हैं, अंडर फैब्रिकेशन है। जैसे ये भी आ जाएंगे, एश्योरेंस लेटर हम लोगों ने सभी 60 व्हीकल्स को दिया गया है। सिटीजन्स और पार्टनर इन्वॉल्वमेंट भी लगातार है। सिटीजन्स आईएमसी में जितने उन्होंने मेडिकल कैंप्स, हेल्थ चेकअप्स, फेलिसिटेशन, इन सभी एरिया में सफाई मित्र के लिए लगातार कई सारी एक्टिविटीज की हैं, जिसमें आगे फोटो में शो कर रही हूँ। एक इम्पॉर्टेंट जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो बीपीसीएल का है। बीपीसीएल ने आईएमसी को रोबोटिक क्लीनिंग मशीन सब्सिडाइज रेट पे दिए हैं, जिसका गैप फंडिंग बीपीसीएल ने किया है। तो अभी हमारे फ्लीट में 5 ओपनिंग्स हैं जो इजी चैम्बर क्लीनिंग का काम करते हैं, स्पेशली जो प्राइमरी लाइंस हैं उनके लिए बहुत ही इफेक्टिव मशीन्स हैं। इस तरीके के इनिशिएटिव्स कई सिटीजन्स इंदौर में लेते हैं कि कोई कैफे ये इनॉग्रेट किया है सफाई मित्रों के द्वारा। उन्होंने ये जो रिबन कटिंग सेरेमनी है वो हमारे सफाई मित्रों ने की है। इसी तरीके से इंदौर बार बार एसोसिएशन ने किया है। बहुत सारे फेलिसिटेशन प्रोग्राम्स टाइम पर सिटीजन्स यहाँ ऑर्गेनाइज करते रहते हैं। एक जो इकोसिस्टम का बात है, बहुत सारा काम जो हम लोग वाटर प्लस के लिए गए, हम लोगों को समझ आया कि कई जगह प्राइमरी लाइंस में रेक्टिफिकेशन
मैम थोड़ा ऑडियो में आई थिंक देयर इज प्रॉब्लम। Archita, please check if Indore disconnected, then we can start with some other city and in question answer, because many of the things are already covered. Just check if it is readily doable, otherwise we will go to next city.
Sure, sir.
Ma'am, in between, if you permit, we will start with Nellore, and at question answer time, some of the salient features they can mention already. Many things they have mentioned, basically that innovation and other thing which ULB will be definitely benefited, and every time we definitely here in Indore, it is always inspiring, and there are a lot of things to learn. So now I request Nellore to please share their screen. Nellore.
Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible, co-host? Host, can you please inform me?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes. So, good evening, ma'am. This is Dinesh, Municipal Commissioner, Nellore. At the outset, I would like to thank Mahua and Mahua for organizing this webinar for the benefit of all ULBs. Without wasting much of my time, I'll directly go to the presentation. I'll keep it very brief, ma'am, so that it will be useful for everyone. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. First of all, Nellore city, this is just a brief background of Nellore. Nellore Corporation population is about 7.56 lakhs. It's spread in 149 square kilometers with 54 wards. We have both underground drainage network, which is coming from past like almost 1970s, 1980s, and whatever rest of the city that has grown up in the past few years. Now we are covering up with a new UGD network. So old network is around 125 kilometers and new network is around 390 kilometers, and the quantity of water supplied in the city is around 105 MLD. So even if I take 80% of it coming out as drainage, we are producing 80 MLD of drainage water. coming from past like almost 1970s, 1980s, and whatever rest of the city that has grown up.
Nellore. We are not able to hear you, Nellore.
Am I audible now?
Yes, fine. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So when SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge was launched by Government of India, the heart and soul of the challenge was to eliminate manual scavenging, at the same time hazardous cleaning. Though manual scavenging was almost eliminated in Nellore, hazardous cleaning was still an issue, because even in 2017 slash 2018, roughly around that time, we had witnessed one death because the Safai Mitras, they haven't entered into a sewer network without PPE kits. So that was the thought which we had in mind. We thought that that shouldn't be repeated, and we as the corporation and we as the stakeholders in this entire issue, we decided that we have to protect the lives of the Safai Mitras at any cost. So we participated in this challenge with a lot of pride and with a lot of sincerity. So the first thing that which we have identified in our brainstorming session is that we have identified the reasons why this hazardous cleaning is existing. For that, there are many reasons, but one simple reason which we found out is that if we take this sector of providing septic services in any of the urban local body, more or less it is dominated by private players, and even in that private players, it is usually dominated by those people who have access to money and who have access to power. So to put it in a brief, it is actually a cartelized sector where one or two players used to exit, and rest of the players, they doesn't have any money, or they doesn't have access to power, so they used to work in an unhygienic condition at throwaway prices, even putting their life at risk. So what we have decided is that we wanted to create a level playing field in Nellore. So the urban local body, that is the Nellore Municipal Corporation, has taken over the services of entire septic services in Nellore. Through Nellore Municipal Corporation, we are providing 100% septic services now. So all the private players are licensed with Nellore Municipal Corporation, and they are not supposed to take any request from any of the citizens directly. We have established a control room through which citizens of Nellore used to contact for the septic services, and through the control room, based on the roster, we are allocating septic clean services or other services through all the private players. So what this has done is that the hitherto marginalized sectors, marginalized people who are not socially included, they have become part and parcel of the entire process. They have started owning it up. They themselves have contributed some money. Few of them have took support from us and bought sewage septic cleaners, desludging vehicles, and they started providing services to the citizens of Nellore. And we have whitewashed previous phone numbers of entire private operators, and throughout the city there is only one common number now, that is 14420. So basically what we have done is we have completely regulated this sector by taking 100% control, and through urban local body all services are being delivered. It's not that we are delivering the services by partnering the private people, we are delivering the services, but it is happening under the vigil and supervision of the Nellore Municipal Corporation. So we are able to enforce the prohibition of manual scavenging act. We have taught them the legal provisions, we have taught them the penal provisions, statutory provisions. We told them we have initiated action against one or two private people who are not following these guidelines. So with this approach of carrot and stick, more or less we are able to streamline these services and able to provide PPE kits to each and every Safai Mitra who is involved in the sector. So this is the previous situation. The previous situation was like they are not using PPE kits. Desludging operators were not licensed. They used to dump the septage in the drains and nalas. all the desludging operators were unregulated, unsystematic, etc. So the negative impact of such a situation is that obviously the SafaiMitras will take a toll. They have to cost their lives. Their livelihood is impacted. They are not paid proportionately, or they are not paid as per their skill, because most of these private operators are running behind the profits, and other communal issues, community issues, like if septage is dumped in an open drain, it leads to so many other diseases. So we have created few institutions to stabilize whatever we have planned. One is, of course, the setting up of emergency response sanitation unit, because and sanitation authority, whatever the complaints or what are the grievances that citizens raise in Nellore Municipal Corporation, we used to attend on an immediate basis. Because we have set up a 24/7 helpline, and until and unless that support is not given to the citizens, they will not trust the services provided by the corporation. So we have invested very hugely here in setting up these sanitation units and sanitation authorities, or be it a command control center, which is operated again by the SafaiMitras and a few of the data entry operators. So the SafaiMitras used to sit in the control room. They used to take calls sometimes, and they have formed a cooperative, and among themselves they used to distribute the work. Which till date was hijacked by one or two people in the sector. And we have also established one fecal flush treatment plant and sewerage treatment plant. We have bought these FSTP and STPs into operation. Nellore has a sewerage treatment plant working for the past few years. We have developed a co-treatment plant to treat my septage along with the sewerage that we are generating in the Nellore Municipal Corporation. And we have also developed one mobile application, NMC for you, which is exclusively for Nellore, for the grievances of the citizens, be it solid waste management or liquid waste management or septage services that people have. They can always use this app and raise the grievance or raise the service that is being sought for. We have also developed a portal and a WhatsApp number. So 24/7, we have ensured that through all means we are getting the requests of the citizens to cater their needs. We have also invested very heavily in manpower. We have rationalized the workforce of the Nellore Municipal Corporation, and we, as per the CPHEO norms, whatever that are supposed to be there for operationalizing or maintaining these sewer networks, we have ensured that many workforce were provided there. So these are the number of total desludging operators are around drivers 30, informal SafaiMitras, helpers 60, and then 46 people who are working for maintenance of this sewer network. And while issuing license, we have made mandatory for the private operators to distribute PPE kits to all the SafaiMitras or all the workers who are working with that particular desludge operator. To start with, Nellore Municipal Corporation has itself distributed PPE kits to everyone, because we in corporation believe that life is more important than a business. So we thought that even though they are not part of the corporation staff, we have distributed PPE kits even to the private desludging operators as a one-time investment. To ensure that our objective of manhole to mission hole is reached, we have mechanized our maintenance aspect of the sewer network. Earlier, most of our SafaiMitras used to enter into our sewer networks without any PP kit. So sometimes they say it is comfortable, but they don't exactly know what danger they are facing. So we have purchased the bandicoot missions, jetting missions, rodding missions, bucket missions, and sufficient number of desludging vehicles as per the CPHO norms. We got all the SafaiMitras trained. We explained them in detail what is the hazard and what is the danger if they don't use it. And then they started using it in most of the operations, and they themselves have opined that they are now comfortable and it is actually advantageous for them. So as I said, we have invested a lot in the capacity building of all the SafaiMitras. We have conducted training sessions. We have conducted even examinations for them to understand their capacity or their grasping power. So we have identified those few people who are not able to pick up so much, and then we have again organized additional classes for them. Basically, it's about how to use the PPE kits, how to motivate citizens, and then how to take care of their family and the welfare measures. Here, I would like to add one thing. Apart from the Suraksha thing which we are doing for all the SafaiMitras, it is very important for an urban local body to give confidence to its employees. Not just the employees, but even for their family members. So what we have done is most of these SafaiMitras, they come from a socially marginalized sections, often socially excluded. And their quality and standard of living is not up to the mark. So we have introduced a scheme of welfare measures to all of them, right from enrolling them to the rice card, giving them an insurance, giving them an health card, and then also getting their children educated in one of the best schools of the Nellore Municipal Corporation. We have tied up for many of the welfare schemes, both that are being given by either by the state government or by the central government. And we have also issued them house side pattas, and we have also sanctioned them a house. So now that is what has made them into a cooperative, or bring some camaraderie among all the SafaiMitras who are engaged in this sector. Apart from capacity building and welfare measures, we have ensured that all these SafaiMitras were also made into or transformed into an entrepreneurs, because
Hello, Nellore, we are not able to hear you.
Move to the next.
Okay. Thank you, Nellore. I think one thing is common in all those who have performed well. It is capacity building, convergence with other programs, and mechanization efforts and the institutional setup. So it will be helpful to our ULBs. They are participating here. Now I request Jamshedpur to please start their presentation, and I request all that they should complete their presentation within allocated time, because already we are running late and there is requirement for interaction, also open house where all cities will be required to say their concerns and other things. So over to Jamshedpur. Yes, Jamshedpur, we are not able to hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. जमशेदपुर, सभी को नमस्कार, स्वच्छ नमस्कार। जमशेदपुर एक ऐसा शहर है जहां पे सफाई मित्रों और स्टेक होल्डर के कारण हम लोगों ने सफाई सुरक्षा चैलेंज में अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है। इस एवज में सभी सफाई मित्रों को हम लोग धन्यवाद देते हैं और आशा भी ये करते हैं कि बेहतर हम लोग परफॉर्म करेंगे फ्यूचर में। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। जमशेदपुर एक्चुअली जो बैकग्राउंड है उसमें जमशेदपुर दो नदियों के संगम पे बसा हुआ है, विच इज खरकई नदी एंड स्वर्णरेखा नदी। बहुत ब्यूटीफुल शहर है और यहाँ की पॉपुलेशन जो है 6,30,000 है, now 7,70,000 है। हमारे यहाँ जो सीवरेज लाइन है वो 579 किलोमीटर है और जो रोड की लेंथ है वो 713 किलोमीटर है। हमारे यहाँ जो सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि ग्रीनरी काफ़ी अच्छा है, अप्रॉक्स 30% 37% जो है कवरेज है। तो अच्छे अच्छे यहाँ पे ब्यूटीफुल गार्डन है और 4 सीवरेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट हमारे यहाँ पर है उपलब्ध, जिसमें 64 MLD कैपेसिटी की है। और सबसे अच्छी बात है कि ये जो चारों ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट है वो ZLD से कनेक्ट है और हम लोग जीरो लिक्विड डिस्चार्ज हैं यहाँ पे, जिसका यूज जो है हमारे यहाँ गार्डन जो पानी रीयूज होता है वाटर, उसमें हम लोग गार्डन में, इंडस्ट्री में और बागवानी में और उसको अन्य जो हम लोग प्लांट लगाते हैं उस पर हम लोग इसको यूज किया जाता है। साथ में 10 सीवरेज पंपिंग स्टेशन प्लांट है जो ऑटोमेटेड है और जो ऑटोमेटेड ऑपरेशन होता है। इसके अलावा हम लोग एक अच्छी बात यह है कि जनवरी 2021 से हमारे यहाँ किसी भी तरह का मैनुअल एक्सकेवेंजर या मानव से हम लोग को कोई भी सीवरेज की साफ सफाई नहीं की जाती है, बल्कि ऑटोमेटिक जो मशीनें हैं हमारे यहाँ उससे साफ सफाई की जाती है। 2021 के बाद पूरी तरह से यहाँ हम लोग बैन है, कोई भी मेन होल में किसी तरह का किसी को प्रवेश वर्जित है। हम लोगों ने जो नंबर ऑफ व्हीकल्स है उसमें इन्हांस किया है। आप स्लाइड में आप स्पष्ट तौर से देखेंगे कि हम लोग किस तरह से जो है मैकेनाइज व्हीकल्स का हम लोग बढ़ोतरी किए हैं। आगे भी हम लोग इस चीज़ को ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोग आगे और भी मशीनें परचेज करने वाले हैं। ये हमारा है कि हम लोगों के द्वारा जो है एक SRU और RSA सैनिटेशन प्लान बनाया जाता है, जिसमें हर एक मॉर्निंग में सभी सफाई मित्रों को ट्रेनिंग दिया जाता है और नॉट ओनली ट्रेनिंग बल्कि हेल्थ के बारे में भी इसकी जानकारी दी जाती है। हम लोगों ने जिंगल के माध्यम से, रेडियो जिंगल, वॉल पेंटिंग एंड पोस्टर बैनर के माध्यम से पूरे शहर में सफाई मित्रों को कैसे अवेयर किया जाए, उसके परिवार को कैसे आगे बढ़ाया जाए, इसको लेकर के हम लोग एक कैंपेनिंग लगातार होती रहती है और लोगों को अवेयर भी किया जाता है कि सेफ्टी को कैसे अपनाया जाए और जो भी सीवरेज में जो लोग लगे हुए हैं साफ सफाई में, उसमें कैसे PP का यूज किया जाए। इस चीज़ों की ट्रेनिंग जो है एवरी मॉर्निंग दिया जाता है और साथ में वेल्थ चेकअप का भी ध्यान रख करके उनको वेल्थ चेकअप भी किया जाता है। हम लोगों ने अभी रिसेंटली सुपर सकर मशीन जो है, जो हमारा सीवरेज क्लीनिंग के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मशीन है, पहले हमारे पास 2 थी, अब अभी हम लोग रिसेंटली 1 खरीदे हैं। फ्यूचर में भी हम लोग को एक और खरीदने का प्लान है। हम लोगों ने ऑलरेडी एक कॉल सेंटर एस्टेब्लिश किया है जिसको सहयोग केंद्र है और इसमें हम लोग के द्वारा जो भी परेशानियां या जिनको दिक्कतें होती है वो उस कॉल सेंटर का 24 घंटा यूज किया जाता है और हम लोग जो है 24/7 जो है इसमें हम लोग सेवा देते हैं और लोगों को इसमें काफ़ी हम लोग को फीडबैक अच्छा मिलता है। साथ में हम लोग सेफ्टी ट्रेनिंग सेंटर भी जो है वो एस्टेब्लिश किए हैं, जहाँ पे लोगों को हमारा एक ट्रेनिंग टीम है। ट्रेनिंग टीम के द्वारा जो है उन सभी लोगों को ट्रेनिंग दिया जाता है कि कैसे सेफ्टी और PP का यूज किया जाए। इसके अलावा हम लोग डेली टूल बॉक्स टॉक करते हैं। आप इस फोटो में देखेंगे कि टूल बॉक्स सिस्टम है हमारे यहाँ, जहाँ पे जिस लोकेशन पे हम लोग को पहले जाना है, किस लोकेशन पे हम लोग को आइडेंटिफिकेशन किया जाता है हैजार्डस का और उसके बाद वहाँ पे लोगों को लगाया जाता है। तो एक अच्छी बात यही है कि जहाँ पे लोग पहले जिस जगह पे जाना रहता है वहाँ लोग पहले से ही इनको पता है कि हमको कैसे सेफ्टी का यूज करना है, कैसे PP किट पहनना है और कैसे वर्क करना है। तो एवरी मॉर्निंग इस चीज़ को जो है ध्यान में रख करके लोगों को ट्रेनिंग दिया जाता है। इसके अलावा वर्क इंस्पायर करने के लिए हम लोगों के द्वारा जो है लोगों को काफ़ी जो सफाई मित्र है उनको सम्मान समारोह करके लोगों को इंस्पायर किया जाता है। हम लोग जितने भी ULB की टीम्स है और जो भी प्राइवेट टीम्स है, प्राइवेट पार्टनर्स टीम है, उनके द्वारा जो है एक साथ बैठ करके हम लोग टॉक करते हैं कि क्या परेशानी है, उनके सम्मान में उनके सम्मान समारोह किया जाता है। साथ में उनको सामूहिक भोजन का भी हम लोग व्यवस्था करते हैं ताकि उनके जो मनोबल है उसमें इनको इंस्पायर हो। ये ऑलरेडी हम लोग जो है बता चुके हैं कि जितने भी हमारा मेन होल है वो 100% जो है मैकेनाइज क्लीनिंग होती है। कहीं पर भी हम लोग का जो है मैनुअल क्लीनिंग नहीं की जाती है। और इस मैकेनाइज क्लीनिंग में हम लोग यूज ऑफ जो है जो इंस्पेक्शन होता है उसमें कैमरा का यूज करते हैं, ZLD का यूज करते हैं STP में। तो इस तरह की चीज़ों को जो है हम लोग आगे बढ़ाते हैं। इसमें हम लोग जो है सोशल वेलफेयर स्कीम के साथ इनको जोड़ा गया है, जिसमें हम लोग इनके परिवार को हम लोग EPF, ESSI एंड प्रधानमंत्री जीवन बीमा योजना, आयुष्मान भारत, उज्ज्वला योजना और अन्य तरह की चीज़ों को जो है हम लोग इनको स्कीम से बेनिफिट कर रहे हैं। रेगुलर मास मीटिंग के माध्यम से लोगों को शपथ दिलाया जाता है कि किस तरह से आपको PP किट और मेन होल में काम करना है पहन करके। तो रेगुलर हेल्थ चेकअप की भी व्यवस्था की गई है, जिसमें हमारे जो मेडिकल टीम है उनकी व्यवस्था रखते हैं। इस हेल्थ चेकअप में हमारे यहाँ रोटरी क्लब से लेकर के अन्य जो है प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स लोग हैं वो भाग लेते हैं और लोगों को फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट जो है उसमें हेल्थ चेकअप कराया जाता है। ये हमारा जो ये नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, जो जहाँ पे लायंस क्लब और रोटरी क्लब इंगेज होते हैं और उन लोग के लिए हेल्थ चेकअप की व्यवस्था करते हैं। और लोग इसमें जो है काफ़ी उत्साह के रूप में लोग आते हैं और अच्छी तरीक़ा से अपना हेल्थ और अपने बच्चों का भी हेल्थ का ध्यान रखते हुए इसको चेक कराते हैं। एक हमारे यहाँ सबसे अच्छी बात है कि स्वच्छता पुकारे एक हम लोगों ने एक अलग से इनिशिएटिव टीम बनाया है, जो इसको मैनुअल क्लीनिंग, मैकेनाइज्ड क्लीनिंग कैसे किया जाए इसको अवेयर किया जाता है। और ये लोग घर घर जा करके लोगों को कैसे अपना सेप्टिक टैंक को क्लीन कराया जाए इस चीज़ का ध्यान, इसको ट्रेनिंग दिया जाता है। तो हम लोग के यहाँ एक डेडिकेटेड टीम है और इस डेडिकेटेड टीम के माध्यम से हम लोग आगे इसको ट्रेनिंग को बढ़ाते हैं। साथ में हम लोग NS के FDDC के माध्यम से लोगों को लोन दिलाने के लिए भी हम लोग इंस्पायर करते हैं, ताकि जो अब तो 15 लाख तक जो लोन देने की बात है NS के FDC के द्वारा 4% पे, उस पर भी हम लोग लगातार मीटिंग्स करते हैं। लोगों के जितना भी आवश्यकता है उसके माध्यम से हम लोग इसको लोन के हम लोग अवेयर करते हैं। हम लोगों के द्वारा जो सिटी है उसको 2 जोन में डिवाइड किया गया है, जिसमें से हर एक जो 2 जोन है हमारा, उसमें हमारा मैनेजर एस्टेब्लिश है और उसमें उस मैनेजमेंट के माध्यम से हम लोग इसको रेगुलेट करते हैं और जहाँ भी प्रॉब्लम्स आती है उसको हम लोग आगे इसको ठीक करते हैं। इसमें हमारे यहाँ जो है सुपर सकर की जो मशीनें हैं ये रेगुलर बेसिस पे काम करती है और इसमें लोग जो है जहाँ पे दिक्कतें आती है उसको हम लोग इसको इन्हांस करते हैं, उसको ठीक करते हैं। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि हमारे यहाँ नो PP और नो वर्क की बात कही गई है कि बिना PP का कोई भी वर्क क्लीननेस पे नहीं दिया जाता है। ये हम लोगों के द्वारा एक प्रोग्राम चलाया गया था जहाँ पे हम लोगों ने काफ़ी मशक्क़त के बाद, जब 2021 से पहले हम लोगों ने मैनुअल स्कैवेंजर के रूप में लोग कभी-कभी मैनुअली काम करते थे, तो उसमें काफ़ी दिक्कतें आती थी। तो हम लोगों के द्वारा जो होल IR बेस्ड फ्लो लेवल इंडिकेटर का बात कहा गया था। उसमें हम लोगों के द्वारा जो है एक सीवर नेटवर्क बनाया गया है, जहाँ पे हम लोगों ने उनके महिलाओं को, उनके बच्चों को हम लोग ट्रेनिंग दिए और उनके घरों में जा कर के हम लोगों ने कैसे कन्वर्ट किया है मैकेनाइज क्लिनिक्स पर। तो ये लोगों को हम लोग उनके एरिया में जा कर के उनको हम लोगों ने काफ़ी अंडरस्टैंडिंग किया, काफ़ी समझाया और लोग उसके बाद जो है इंस्पायर हुए और लोग जो है मैकेनाइज क्लीनिंग के लिए जो है आगे आए। उसके बाद से हमारा जो है ये चीज़ें जो है आगे बढ़ी और मैकेनाइज क्लीनिंग के लिए हम लोग जो है आगे आए। ये एक हमारा है जो ग्रेटिंग की बात कही जाती है, जहाँ पे पहले एक डर बना रहता था कि अगर होल की सफाई करना है तो उसमें कई लोगों को गिरने का खतरा रहता था। तो हम लोग उसमें ग्रेटिंग डलवाया प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स के माध्यम से और आप देखेंगे कि इस पिक्चर में स्पष्ट है कि एक पाइप के माध्यम से जो जाली लगी हुई है उसमें इजीली जो है गिरने का खतरा नहीं रहता है। पहले लोग गिरते थे तो काफ़ी नुकसान पहुंचता था लोगों को। अब ये चीज़ें जो है अभी ठीक है। और इसके अलावा हम लोगों ने ट्रेनिंग भी आगे बढ़ाया है और इस ट्रेनिंग के माध्यम से हम लोगों के द्वारा जो है अब लोगों को सोसाइटी में जा करके अब जो है ट्रेनिंग दिया गया है। नुक्कड़ नाटक को भी हम लोगों ने एक जो है अवेयर के लिए काफ़ी जागरूक एक जरिया बनाया है। लोगों को नुक्कड़ नाटक के माध्यम से हम लोगों ने मैकेनाइज्ड क्लीनिंग को और भी बेहतर कैसे किया जाए, सेप्टिक टैंक को कैसे साफ किया जाए, किस पीपीपी किट को कैसे पहना जाए, उसमें क्या कैसे वर्क किया जाए, इस तरह की चीज़ों को हम लोग आगे बढ़ाए हैं। हम लोगों के द्वारा जो है जितने भी प्रोक्योरमेंट जितने भी नई मशीनें खरीदी गई है उसमें जेम पोर्टल का यूज किया गया है। जेम पोर्टल के माध्यम से जो 15 फाइनेंस की जो भारत सरकार से जो अलॉटमेंट मिला है उसमें हम लोग काफ़ी चीज़ें जो है इसमें सफाई मित्र सुरक्षा चैलेंज के लिए हम लोग ने काफ़ी उसमें अलॉटमेंट रखा था और इसी के कारण जो है हम लोग जो है काफ़ी मशीनें जो है इस बार हम लोग इसको अपने बजट में रखा और अभी नया प्रोक्योरमेंट के माध्यम से हम लोगों ने इसको परचेज भी किया। ये हमारा कुछ फ्यूचर प्लान है कि हम लोगों के द्वारा जो है एक सिटी लेवल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ सीवर फ्लो इंडिकेटर बनाया गया है जिसमें सभी जो कुछ अभी तत्काल हम लोगों को जो कुछ मशीन है उसमें होल IR बेस्ड फ्लो लेवल इंडिकेटर लगाया है जिसमें ये पता चलेगा कि कहाँ पे हमारा जो किस होल में मेन होल में जाम है उसको हम लोग इस इंडिकेटर के माध्यम से हम लोग पता लगा लेते हैं। और ये जो है अभी हम लोग के पायलट बेस्ड योजना है, इसको हम लोग आगे और पूरे सिटी लेवल पे इसको हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे। साथ में अभी एक सबसे बड़ी बात है कि अलग अलग चीज़ के लिए अलग अलग ऐप है, तो वन ऐप फॉर ऑल पब्लिक ग्रीवांसेस के लिए हम लोग वर्क कर रहे हैं। इसके अलावा हम लोगों ने और भी एक 30 MLD का जो है STP बनाने की योजना हमारे पास है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि हम लोगों ने जो IS कोड 2407 है उसके तहत जितने भी हमारे यहाँ बिल्डिंग बन रहे हैं उनका अप्रूवल हम लोग तभी देते हैं जब उस तरह के मेसन जो है जो नॉर्म्स बना है सेप्टिक टैंक बनाने का वैसे ही ट्रेंड मेसन उसमें काम करते हैं। तो ये हम लोग स्पष्ट तौर पे उस बिल्डिंग प्लान में अप्रूवल में ये मेंशन कर देते हैं कि अगर आप इस तरह की चीज़ों को आप जो नॉर्म्स है सेप्टिक टैंक बनाने का उन्हीं ट्रेंड मेसन को लगाएं। तो इन चीज़ों को यहाँ पे लागू किया गया है। साथ में जो हमारे जो सेप्टिक टैंक वाले लोग हैं, पहले हम लोग उसको क्या होता था कि पहले वार्ड इसको हम लोग आइडेंटिफाई करते थे, बट अब इसको जियो टैगिंग के माध्यम से हम लोग इसको सेप्टिक टैंक क्लियर कर रहे हैं ताकि हम लोग को इसमें इजीली आइडेंटिफाई कर सके और कहाँ पे इसका नीड है इसको हम लोग क्लियर कर सके। ये कुछ जमशेदपुर की तस्वीरें हैं। थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू मैम।
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. I think your presentation will be inspiring all towns and cities around that Jamshedpur and even that in adjoining states also, especially that zero liquid discharge concept. This is going to really motivate all our cities because recycle reuse is a priority and it is clearly mentioned under our SBM and Amrut also. Other efforts like Swachhta Pukare and this mason training and other things will also be the one thing that is desired, and this will help improve this sanitation in cities. So thanks a lot. Now I will request Dewas to please make their presentation.
को मैं सादर नमस्कार। मैं विशाल सिंह, देवास म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन कमिश्नर। जैसा कि बताया गया कि बहुत कम समय अब बचा हुआ है और निश्चित रूप से बहुत कम समय में अपनी बात पूरी करनी है, तो आई कीप इट वेरी शॉर्ट। मुझे ये बताने में बिल्कुल संकोच नहीं है कि स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण तो हम लोग काफी पहले से पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे थे लेकिन एक चीज जो सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज के आने के बाद में हम लोगों को फील हुआ कि हम लोग एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट था हमारे स्वच्छ भारत अभियान का, हमारे सफाई मित्रों का, हमारे पूरे सिस्टम का, इसको मिस कर रहे थे, विच इज दी सेफ्टी ऑफ सफाई मित्र। और सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज ने उसमें आई ओपनर का काम हम लोग के लिए करा, और उसमें मैंने ही नहीं बाकी सभी नगर निगमों में इसमें बहुत कुछ काम करा है। मैं देवास के बारे में बताना चाहूंगा कि देवास एक अमृत सिटी है जिसकी पॉपुलेशन अराउंड 3.25 लाख है। हाँ, हम लोग पिछले कई सालों से स्वच्छता सर्वेक्षण में और दूसरी एक्टिविटीज में बेहतर परफॉर्म करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं, और बहुत सारे अवसर पर हम लोगों ने बहुत बेहतर परफॉर्म भी करा है। हमारा जो सैनिटेशन का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उसमें अभी हमारे पास में रिसेंटली ही हम लोगों ने अपने 3 STPs को कंप्लीट करा है। साथ ही साथ हमारा जो सीवरेज सिस्टम का जो कवरेज हम लोगों ने पिछले 1 साल में बहुत मेहनत करके इसको 78% तक लेके गए हैं। जो हाउस होल्ड हैं, मोर देन 45,000 हाउस होल्ड जो है सीवरेज से हम लोग कनेक्ट कर चुके हैं। वी हैव को ट्रीटमेंट फैसिलिटी ऑल्सो एट 1 STP. We have multiple community toilets, public toilet, public urinals, and we have the dislodging vehicles also. जो इंस्टीट्यूशनल सेटअप हम लोगों ने हमारे यहाँ करा था आफ्टर दी सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज, सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जो था कि हमारे एक टोल फ्री नंबर को एक्टिवेट करना था, विच एंड सेकंड हम लोगों ने अपने यहाँ एक अल्टरनेट ऑप्शन जो है सिटी जन के लिए रखा था, वो माय देवास ऐप का जो सिटीजन ऐप है उसमें हम लोगों ने सीवेज रिलेटेड जो ग्रेवियार्ड्स हैं और सीवेज क्लीनिंग के जो लोगों के एप्लीकेशंस हैं उसके लिए प्रोविजन करा। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों ने अपने शहर में इमरजेंसी सैनिटेशन रिस्पांस यूनिट, जैसा कि बताया गया था, हम लोगों ने हमारे यहाँ एस्टैब्लिश करा। वो हमारे इस पूरे सैनिटेशन का जो सिस्टम है उसको देखती रहती है, जिसकी चेयरमैनशिप मैं करता हूँ। इंटेंसिव आईसी हम लोगों ने वार्डों में करी फॉर दी सेप्टिक टैंक डिस्लेजिंग। ऑल्सो जो लोग कई बार सीवरेज के टैंक्स में चैम्बर्स में मटेरियल डाल देते थे, तो उसको लेकर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था, बिकॉज उसके कारण बार बार चैम्बर्स की शोकिंग होती थी, कर्मचारियों को सफाई के लिए बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ती थी, कई बार नीचे उतरना पड़ता था, और ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट था जिसको लेके पब्लिक बहुत अवेयर नहीं थी। लोगों को ऐसा लगता था कि ऐसी कोई चीज है तो इसको सीधे जो है चैम्बर में डाल दिया जाए। तो हमारी आईसी का जो मेन पार्ट था वो ये था कि हमें किस प्रकार से सीवरेज के सिस्टम को अच्छा बनाए रखना है। इम्प्रूवमेंट ऑफ मैन पावर में हमने हमारे यहाँ सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र चैलेंज लागू होने के बाद में 2 क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस इंजीनियर अपॉइंट करे। हमारी जो सीवर क्लीनिंग की टीम है उनके साथ में हम लोगों ने टेक्निकल सुपरवाइजर्स को अपॉइंट करा, जिनको की स्पेशल ट्रेनिंग प्रोवाइड की गई। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों ने अपनी सेप्टिक टैंक की डिस्लेजिंग की टीम्स जो है उनको भी इंक्रीज करा, सो दैट कि एक टीम के ऊपर ज्यादा बर्डन ना, हम लोगों ने नंबर ऑफ टीम्स को इंक्रीज करा। आगे की स्लाइड में जैसे हम बताऊंगा कि हमने हमारे यहाँ मैकेनाइजेशन का जो सिस्टम है उसको इम्प्रूव करा। जैसे कि अदर म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन ने बताया था कि जो आजकल न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी की जितनी भी मशीनें आती हैं, चाहे वो हाइड्रोवेक सेट्स हो या इंस्पेक्शन कैमरास हो, हाइड्रोजेटिंग मशीन्स हो, इसको हम लोगों ने अपने सिस्टम में इन्वॉल्व करा। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों ने एक जो काम करा जो कि NSADFC के तहत हम लोगों ने अपने सफाई कर्मियों के परिवारों को लोन करवाया, और यहाँ पर हमने उनको 2 सेप्टिक टैंक जो है डिस्लेजिंग के लिए अवेलेबल कराए। और इन टैंक्स को हम लोगों ने जो सेप्टिक व्हीकल्स डिस्लेजिंग व्हीकल्स हैं, इनको हमने नगर निगम के सिस्टम के साथ में इंकॉर्पोरेट करा। अब हम लोग अपने पर्सनल व्हीकल नहीं चलाते हैं जो हमारे पास हुआ करते थे। अब जो हम लोग सफाई कर्मियों को और हमारे जो पार्टनर एजेंसी है जिनको हम लोगों ने अपने साथ अपॉइंट करा है, उन्हीं के व्हीकल्स को नगर निगम के जो चलाते हैं। इसे एक काम तो ये भी बचा है कि नगर निगम का जो एक पार्ट हुआ करता था वो बचा है, साथ ही साथ कुछ और लोगों को इसमें रोजगार मिला है। ये लिस्ट ऑफ इक्विपमेंट और सेफ्टी गियर्स है जो हम लोगों ने अपने सिस्टम में इंकॉर्पोरेट करे, जो कि CTHO के नॉर्म्स के अनुसार है। हमने लगभग हर वो चीज जो कि हमारा कैलकुलेटर हमें बताता था उस नंबर्स पे लेके आए हैं। कुछ चीजों को जहां हमें रिक्वायरमेंट थी हमने उससे ज्यादा भी अपने होल्डिंग को बढ़ाया है। कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, सफाई मित्रों के वेलफेयर से रिलेटेड जो चीजें थी ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट थी, जो कि सफाई सुरक्षा मित्र का जो मेन कंपोनेंट भी है। हम लोगों ने लगातार हमारे जो इस लिक्विड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट की टीम्स हैं उनके लिए ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइज करी, उनका इंटीग्रेशन करा। जो दूसरे लोग थे जो कि इनफॉर्मल वर्कर्स थे, हमारे साथ काम नहीं करते थे, उन लोगों को हमने अपनी टीम का पार्ट बनाया, उनको ट्रेनिंग दी, उन लोगों को PPE किट्स और जो दूसरे इक्विपमेंट्स होते हैं वो प्रोवाइड करे हम लोगों ने। इसके साथ साथ जैसा मैंने पहले बताया, हमने हमारे कर्मचारियों को NSDFC के साथ लिंकेज करा के लोन्स अवेलेबल कराएं, एडवांस पीपी किट का डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करा जो हमारे सीवर कमांडोज जिनको हम कहते हैं, और एक बायनल हेल्थ चेकअप जो है स्पेशल चेकअप फॉर दी पीपल हु आर एंगेज्ड इन दिस डिस्लजिंग एंड सीवर क्लीनिंग सिस्टम, इन लोगों के लिए अलग से एक सिस्टम क्रिएट करा। आगे की स्लाइड में बताऊंगा, हम लोगों ने आने वाले समय में अब इनके लिए मेडिक्लेम की फैसिलिटी भी लेके आए हैं, सो दैट कि इनको अच्छे प्राइवेट अस्पताल में भी इलाज करने में बहुत ज्यादा फाइनेंशियल बर्डन ना हो। इकोसिस्टम इंप्रूव करने के लिए जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट था कि हमारा जो फाइनेंशियल मॉडल है वो इस तरह से रहे कि हम लोग अपने सिस्टम को रन कर पाए। तो हम लोगों ने यहाँ पर सभी पॉलिटिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स को कॉन्फिडेंस में लिया, दूसरे जो हमारे लोग हैं जो सिस्टम से जुड़े हुए हैं उनको कॉन्फिडेंस में लिया, और साथ हमारी डिस्लजिंग सर्विसेज के जो रेट हैं वो पहले बहुत कम हुआ करते थे, उसको हमने बढ़ाया सो दैट कि जो पार्टनर्स हमारे साथ में जुड़े हैं जो डिस्लजिंग का काम करते हैं वो अपने बिजनेस को ब्रेक इवन से ऊपर ले जाके उसमें कुछ प्रॉफिट अर्न कर पाए। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों ने एक मैंडेटरी जो करा कि अब शहर में हर व्यक्ति को अपना सेप्टिक टैंक क्लीनिंग 3 साल में एक बार कराना मैंडेटरी है। इससे परिणाम भी बहुत अच्छे आए हैं। जब हमने प्राइवेट ऑपरेटर्स को इसमें जोड़ा तो जितना पहले डिस्लेजिंग नहीं हुआ करता था उससे 3 गुना डिस्लेजिंग अब होने लगा, बिकॉज प्राइवेट ऑपरेटर्स के भी अपने इंटरेस्ट होते हैं सो दैट कि वो अपना बिजनेस रन कर पाए। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में जैसा मैंने पहले बताया कि हमने हमारा जो सीवर सिस्टम है उसमें 3 STP लाए हैं, 250 किलोमीटर का जो है नेटवर्क डाला है, सो दैट कि जो पहले का ओल्ड सीवर सिस्टम था उसमें बहुत सारी परेशानियां होती थी, टाइम टू टाइम लाइन चौक हुआ करती थी, उसमें हमारे कर्मचारियों को बहुत अधिक मेहनत ना करना पड़ेगी। जेम के साथ एक्सपीरियंस को मैं बहुत शॉर्ट में रखूंगा, सभी लोगों ने बताया, मैं छोटा सा 1-2 पॉइंट करके बताना चाहूंगा कि जेम के साथ में बहुत सारी चीजें बहुत अच्छी हैं और निश्चित रूप से इसको सिस्टम को बहुत फायदा हुआ है, लेकिन कुछ चीजें हैं जैसे अगर प्रोडक्ट मॉडिफिकेशन हमको रिक्वायर्ड होता है जेम में तो वो बहुत मुश्किल होता है बिकॉज जेम के लोग सुन रहे हैं, और प्रोडक्ट रिटर्न का जो प्रोसेस है वो बहुत चैलेंजिंग है। तो आई थिंक मेरे 2 पॉइंट है जो जेम की टीम तक पहुंच पाएंगे। कुछ गुड प्रैक्टिसेस के फोटोज हैं जैसा हम लोगों को बताया गया था कि हमें शेयर करना है, तो ये आप देख पाएंगे। फ्यूचर प्लान में हम बताना चाहेंगे कि हम लोग, क्योंकि मैं इंदौर से जुड़ा हुआ शहर है देवास, और इंदौर की कुछ अच्छी प्रैक्टिसेस है वो हम लोग अपने यहाँ लगातार इंदौर से सीखते रहते हैं और करते रहते हैं। तो हम लोग आने वाले समय में कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर जो है सफाई मित्रों के लिए स्टैब्लिश करेंगे जैसा इंदौर ने करा है। उपयोग करने वाले हैं हम लोग जो ग्राफ पॉकेट्स होती हैं जैसा इंदौर में प्रतिभा मैम अभी दिखा रहे थे, हम लोग उसको प्रॉक्योर करने वाले हैं, और अधिक सफाई कर्मियों को हम लोग NSDFC से कैसे जोड़ पाए, ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों को हम लोग जो है रोजगार उपलब्ध करा पाए, जो कि मुख्य रूप से हमारे सफाई कर्मी हैं उनके परिवार के लोग होंगे, उस पर हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच। 3 लाख से कम कैटेगरी टाउन्स के लिए आई थिंक मोर देन 4,000 टाउन्स आर देयर, उनके लिए आई थिंक देवास विल डेफिनेटली मोटिवेट देम अ लॉट, स्पेशली दिस सीवर नेटवर्क एंड सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लस जो आप लोगों का जो इनोवेशन है स्पेशली in cleaning and mechanization, all these things will go a very long way in motivating other cities so they can take advantage. Now I request Karimnagar to please make their presentation. Mr. Seva L. Swath, Commissioner.
Sir, good evening, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening to all. Yeah, this is Seva S. Sawat, Municipal Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Karimnagar. The background of the Karimnagar city is, it is the district headquarters located Municipal Corporation. It is also covered under the smart cities, under smart city mission, and it is situated on the banks of the Maner River.
स्लाइड्स का प्रेजेंटर भी आ रहा है, एक बार चेंज करिएगा प्लीज।
It is having the population of It is having the population of 351,344, extent of 65.33 square kilometers. We are having the 60 political wards and total households are 79,082. The number of SafaiMitra workers are 260 and the sanitation vehicles we have the 113. And we have connected the toilets are all households, the 79,082. We are having the public toilets are 24 numbers and community toilets are 3 numbers. We are having the jetting machines 5 numbers and desilting vehicle 1, desilting machines 12 and sewer root cutter are 12 numbers, sewer in special camera. We are also having the 38 MLD STP. The measures taken for the SafaiMitra Suraksha is we have established the RSA under the chairmanship of the district collector of the Karimnagar and also established the SRU under the chairmanship of the commissioner with various department officials, and we are also monitoring with the one call center. With regard to the manpower improvement, we have issued the ID cards to the all SafaiMitras and also provided the PPE kits distributed quarterly and linked even with him minimum 3 government schemes and also provided the 5 private operators loans under the NSK FDC. The improvement of the mechanization. Before SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge, we have the minimal mechanism system and after that we have improved the tremendous. The requisite machinery particulars and quantity we are providing the as per the CPHEC norms and also we are giving the empanelment to the all private desilting vehicles with licensed operators in the ULBs. All these vehicles are operated with the licensed and trained SafaiMitras and all vehicles are fitted with the GPS track and we are monitoring with one call center. The capacity building and welfare measures we have taken with the support of our council members and we have with the support of the NGOs, we have also conducted the skill development trainings on standard operation procedures and the scheme associated with thing through NSKFDC and state and central government schemes also we have conducted. We have also provided the loan mela under loan mela as part of SUV scheme and disbursed the loans to the SafaiMitras on vehicle procurement and maintenance. We have also conducted the health camps and yoga sessions supported by our council. We have also trained the SafaiMitras on the disaster and epidemic response. For good involvement of citizen and development of partners, we have conducted the IEC activities and we have also established the 24/7 helpline number 14420 and also given the wide publicity through IEC activities with the help of our self-help group members and who are headed by the community representatives and community organizations. For ecosystem improvement, our government also issued the orders to establish the RSA, RSA and ESUs also we have established and we are maintaining through the call centers daily. For good practices, through the support of the Kalajata teams, we have conducted the street play on 14420 and also conducted the door-to-door campaign and training conducted to the machines also and IEC activities through our SwachhTalks and we have also conducted the group discussions and motivated all the SafaiMitras. Involvement of private partnership. We are providing the identity card to the desilting operators and also giving dignity provision to them and we are also felicitating on every quarterly to the who is doing the best practices. Our action plan is we will implement the scheduled desilting of every 3 years and integration of private and informal SafaiMitra with ULB, procurement of additional state-of-art machinery for machine hole cleaning and sensor-based monitoring of machine holes and desilting activities. We will develop the capacity building and also distribute the PPE kits on every quarterly basis to the SafaiMitras. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Apart from mechanization, capacity building, an ecosystem, I think efficiently utilizing Ministry of Social Justice programs, facilities like loan, mela, and other thing, I think it will be helpful to all the smaller ULBs also. They can take advantage of it. So with this, we have completed that city-related presentations. Now we will move to best practices presentation that will be done by UMC, Miss Meghna Malhotra. Please start your presentation, Miss Meghna.
Thank you so much, Chaurasya ji, and a very good evening, Rupa ma'am, Yogita ma'am, Rohit sir, and all state and city managers who are here. I'll quickly share my presentation. Is my presentation coming?
Yes, coming. Yes.
So I think I'm just going to briefly talk about what we have heard from different cities. Just a minute. So I think what I'm essentially, it's me and Manvita here, my colleague here, and what we are essentially going to talk about is building on what we've heard from cities based on various aspects of the SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge, but also the outcome, what both Rupa ma'am and Yogita ma'am spoke about, that we want zero fatality in sanitation work. We want to make sanitation work safer and dignified in all of our cities, and especially these 100 lighthouse cities which are going to emerge. So just presenting a quick snapshot of even the data, that's what is showing. SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge ka jo data hai, very clearly saying that only 3% of the cities who participated, so out of the 253 odd cities, I think 197 cities actually participated because the other 38 cities could not even meet the prerequisite criteria, which was the forming of SRU and being ODF plus, and also ensuring the ban of single-use plastic. Out of these 197 cities, only 3% of cities have actually scored more than 70%, while almost 3/4 of cities have scored less than 40%. And it's now up to us to see where have we lost marks, where is it that we can actually, which are the components that we need to strengthen. Even breaking down the 1,000 marks into the subcategories of, say, mechanized cleaning and citizen and soft measures and ecosystem, तो हम ये देखेंगे कि 140 cities ने almost mechanized cleaning, जिसमें आपका था equipment ensure करना और ensure करना कि आपका adequate workforce है, plus citizen and soft measures, इसमें 40% से कम marks 140 cities को मिले हैं, and 129 cities have scored less than 40% for the ecosystem approach. So I think this is giving us some clues to where we really need to prioritize and we need to build on. Just building on this now, a lot of us have spoken about operationalizing of the sanitation response unit, and which has come out as part of the advisory of Mahua also. I think what I'm going to just talk about that, and I'm sure that this situation where you have this fragmentation of service delivery, and this situation is there in many states where you have jal boards, you have PHEs, you have ULBs giving different services. So many of our cities में ऐसा होता है कि desludging request शायद city government ULBs करते हैं, sewerage system का काम सारा jal boards या आपके PHE department करता है. In such a situation, who will be the RSA? Who will ensure that, and who will commit to saying that in case there is a confined space entry that needs to happen, and how that will happen? This is something based on our work in Odisha under the Garima scheme, which ma'am was also referring to. So this is the way we have actually granularly identified कि कौन से state, कौन से cities में ULBs होंगे, RSAs, कौन से इसमें WATCO, OWSSB and PHEO. इन तीनों ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के बीच में कैसे ये डिवीजन ऑफ वर्क वेरी क्लियरली असाइन हो रहा है, एंड हेंस एंड ड्यूटी सुपरवाइजर की भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कौन निभाएंगे. सो आई थिंक दिस लेवल ऑफ वर्क आई थिंक नीड्स टू हैपन इन अ लॉट ऑफ स्टेट्स. Building on this, even the SRU work, I think we all know that just SRU banana is not enough. The RSA, but
a second, ma'am. May I request that we'll stick to the best practices, and once we come for the open round, uske beech mein we are given it the best practices.
Sure,
because that is part of the continuation of this.
Sure,
After
but
I
this is
speak,
something
because
these
these are our issues also, so we'll discuss that. आप सिर्फ उतने में रखिए मैम, ये जो best practices compilation.
Sure.
Thank you.
And these are some leading practices which are emerging from implementation of ERSUs, the whole ERSU structure of how can a command certificate be given, how can a hazard assessment format be given. So these are the kind of leading practices that are coming from different parts, and this is specifically from Bhubaneswar. Again, I think we've also, again, some snapshots of how RSAs are actually kind of mandating, saying that if in case there is a manual entry which is required, how it needs to happen. So these are some leading practices around this confined space entry also. We also saw that a lot of cities have shown enumeration of sanitation workers, and a lot of cities have actually said, and we've heard Indore and other cities talk about enumeration and ki kitne informal workers hain, nahi hai, etc. So I think this is again a tool which is being used in Odisha under Garima, and which is ensuring that no sanitation worker gets left out. Right from community meetings before the starting of the survey, where the families are briefed about the purpose of the survey. जितने surveyed workers हैं उनको SMS भी दिया जाता है कि in case anybody else is left out, please आप इस number को call करिए, and that's how I think this entire work is happening. Also, building on that, once the survey happens, and why such a survey is really important is because I think most fatalities happen in the informal category of workers. And that's why we really need to visibilize them and ensure that they get surveyed. Also, a lot of our commissioners have been talking about the various benefits that have been given to workers. And so this is a tool, again, a beneficiary management system where it's actually monitoring कि एक-एक worker को क्या-क्या आपने entitlement से आपने connect कर दिया है. So I think this is something that, and then provision of iCards as well. So I think this is the whole, the whole linking of the whole work. Now, if you see, and we've actually, I'm just going to summarize that we've seen that even 14420 call centers, and we've seen this that either you have toll-free call centers that have been set up, or the other way of doing it is through such apps. Many cities have their own apps. You have the Indore 311, Dewas has its own app. So how does such a service sit within its own application as well? And this is something that is happening across cities. The other key component of this entire challenge has been, how do you reach out to citizens that please use only the 14420 number? And again, we see Navi Mumbai using the SafaiMitra mascots and engaging different agencies to reach out in a very fun way to citizens. They've used, even the door-to-door solid waste collection vehicles have been used to propose to propagate 14420 numbers. Many cities that we've been talking to have been engaging SHG members to take this message back to citizens, and just both saying very clearly, telling citizens that it's their responsibility to ensure also that sanitation worker safety, जब desludging करने कोई आता है, it's their responsibility also to ensure the safety of the worker. And if you have a sanitation service request such as desludging, etc., please only call 14420. So these are some examples from there. We've already heard from Jamshedpur. I'm not going to repeat this, but I think a very powerful message going back to the workers' families, saying that it's, they act as an influencer to the workers who are also there. Various films are out there. Cities have tried out these different films, जो कि एक तो है, which is encouraging sanitation workers to use PPEs. The below left, the below right film is on citizens' awareness on safety of sanitation workers. What is a citizen's role in ensuring? What is their role in ensuring the safety also? And that the whole propagation of 14420 number also. If we move on to mechanized cleaning, I'm not going to talk much about equipment because this is something our commissioners have spoken at length. But again, a lot of innovation is something we see. For example, Indore, where they've developed a low-cost solution which ranges from 50 to 55,000 only, to the big machines, etc. So such a basket of such machines really needs to be put together to ensure that we have mechanized cleaning. The second part of this was entirely about empanelment of PSSOs. And we've seen, this is a case again of Jamshedpur and other cities also where we have been talking about. कि PSSOs के empanelment में we have to ensure that इनके contracts में भी all of these clauses around provision of PPEs, and PPEs भी एक बार नहीं, in the regime that it needs to be given. एक बार देने से नहीं enough होता है. You need to probably give gloves every month probably. So that kind of a regime needs to be built into the contracts. So वो वाले सारे empanelment clauses and even the contracts that are given out to these PSSOs need to be really also ensured. And if we can have model contracts around this, I think that will be very helpful. And PSSOs का साथ ये वाला काम is very important. I'm going to talk a little bit about the hardship allowance. And I think we have seen in Andhra Pradesh as a state has given monthly allowance of rupees 6,000 per worker. And I think that has really helped. And this is also per worker of outsourced workers. So this is something that is being passed on to all the sanitation workers and engaged in cities of Andhra Pradesh. Similarly, Jamshedpur, Dewas have already spoken about it. Odisha also did a Gazette notification saying that 15% of all daily wages for all types of sanitation workers will be given by the HUDD department. And this disbursement has already started in 5 cities. And also monitor, because एक सवाल हमेशा ये उठता है कि हम मॉनिटर कैसे करें कि स्टाफ को एक्चुअली जो ग्राउंड पे सफाई कर्मचारी काम कर रहे हैं उनको ये हार्डशिप अलाउंस मिल रहा है कि नहीं. And that's why there is this whole under the Garima scheme again, there is an employer management system where the idea is that all payments to safai karmacharis will also happen through a payment gateway of the EMS itself, and hence it will help even monitor that this daily hardship allowance is just not a checkbox ticked off somewhere, but it's actually also happening on the ground, and that the worker is actually getting that amount. So this is something that has happened in again, building on the hardship allowance is also the question about minimum wages itself. This is something that has again, many states have, I think 2 states have done this. This is Odisha again, where the Housing and Urban Development Department and the Labor Department, they got together and they said that we recognize that all the sanitation workers who are engaged in desludging activities, maintaining of sewer network and cleaning of inspection chambers, etc., will be considered as highly skilled. And that pushed their minimum wages by almost 33 to 50%. And I think this is going back to the point where I think Dewas Commissioner was talking about that कि हम इनकी कैसे हम इनको ensure करें कि इनको काम मिले and that they also get enough wages. Again, some interesting examples from Mumbai, where Mumbai में they're calling this as a sewer ambulance. So all of these, अगर confined space entry करनी है, this is the vehicle which acts as a quick response vehicle, and it's equipped with all of these the safety devices, the gas detectors, breathing apparatus, etc. And this is the sewer ambulance that rushes to the site. Right now, Mumbai, I think, has 3 based on what I think we've understood based on talking to them. Similarly, Surat has procured this Xena cleaning robo, which is completely solar powered. I think it's again very similar to Bandicoot, but this is very efficient and working in very narrow lanes also is what we are understanding. So some interesting, I think, special kind of cleaning equipments which are coming. Again, talking about softer measures when it comes to capacity building. We've already heard that cities have been doing a lot of trainings and capacity building. What is good is also, and I would just like to emphasize that, for example, in Karimnagar, when we were talking, and even in Nellore, when we were talking to the city officials, they said that they've also given, there's a very strong validation and assessment that happens. तो ट्रेनिंग तो दे दी, पर उसके बाद में असेसमेंट करना भी जरूरी है कि कितना रिटेन हुआ, कितना समझा. I think that is something that we understood from these two cities at least. And even like Dewas, Indore, Nellore, I did a practical demonstration on use of safety devices, which is, I think, very key when it comes to training of sanitation workers and our core sanitation workers. This is again going back to the case of Odisha, where Odisha state is doing this entire training of confined space through the Odisha Water Academy. And this is now a very systemic approach to again doing trainings. ये अगर आप फर्स्ट फोटोग्राफ में देखेंगे तो उन्होंने एक पूरा एक चेम्बर जैसे कंफाइंड स्पेस वाला बनाया है. तो इसमें वो सिखाते हैं कि गैस मॉनिटर से आपको एक बार नहीं, आपको 4 बार आपको गैस के लेवल्स, अलग अलग गैसेस के लेवल्स आपको चेक करने हैं. हाउ टू इवैक्यूएट different people. This is how the sewer entry professionals are actually trained. Again, very detailed pre and post assessment forms, which are very pictorial, because most of our Safai Karmcharis are also literate, semi-literate. So I think very pictorial, and based on that, post assessment करने के बाद, then they get this SEP cards that I'm now a validated and trained sewer entry professional. So these are some ideas again that other cities can pick up. A lot of work on providing entitlements also is happening, be it again linking of sanitation workers with existing loan provisions. And I think Yogita ma'am was talking about this, that through NSKFDC a lot of support is available. So I think Karimnagar already has plans, and Indore is already, I mean, again, based on our conversations, that they already have plans to give work contracts to the Safai Karmcharis who've gotten these loans. And that's something that is happening. The one thing that I think what really needs to be emphasized is that sirf loan dena is not enough, but we need to also look at EDP support, the whole enterprise running support for these individuals, because I think that is very critical for them to run their business and enterprise successfully. Health checkup, I think I'm not going to talk much. We've heard about this. I think Warangal is something that I would again want to flag. Warangal has given ID cards to SafaiMitras. They've done a wall of honor. They've given monetary awards also. And also they've done camps, and they've given about 2,000 odd sanitation workers with existing again insurance schemes, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana and PM Suraksha Bima Yojana. This is a case from Cuttack where existing, they were engaged into manual cleaning of septic tanks. They have been federated as an SHG under NULM. And they now have been contracted by the Cuttack Municipal Corporation to in the solid waste management chain. They're running the BOV operated waste collection vehicles, etc. And because of this federation also, what is happening is that they've been linked to a lot of other social and financial safety net health support. Again, I think talking about the geotagging of septic tanks, which is also one of the components. This is again Raurkela, a very detailed, they engaged an agency to do this database, very detailed database of properties. And what this is really helping is now they're actually able to highlight properties that have not been desludged in the last 3 years. And this is also helping them develop a schedule for desludging. कि अगर करना है तो कैसे कर पाएंगे. So this questionnaire, and also I think we can again look at it, what they've done, some again leading practices that are coming in. This ma'am has again spoken about from Indore. Building on, I think, an innovative approach is the Garima Griha, which is again in Odisha as part of the Garima program. These are rest rooms or rest lounges that have been created for sanitation workers. ये उनके जैसे muster stations होते हैं जहाँ पे वो अपना entry करते हैं, attendance करते हैं. वहाँ पे जाके they actually, this is a place where they have resting spaces, they have drinking water facilities, changing rooms, they have washing stations where they can wash their PPs, dry them, and then go back home and clean in their own clothes, so that they're not carrying any infection back home also. So this is something that has happened, and I think I'll just end here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This detailed analysis will be very much helpful. We will definitely look into it, examine, and whatever good things are there. Since first this SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge we have conducted, so whatever this analysis is there, that will be of immense help, including this low caste anusal, hardship allowance, and minimum wages and other things. These things will try to see that how it reaches to our ULBs based on your study, and if further required, we will hold a separate discussion also, so that we can take advantage of it. Now I will request Mr. Rohit Kakkar to please make his presentation on expectations and action plans.
Thank you, sir. I'll first start by expressing my congratulations to the 6 speakers today who presented their city's perspective and the best practices which we could understand from the compilation by the UMC. Your impressive efforts and achievements does leave us in complete awe, and it also acts as a source of inspiration for us from the ministry side, from the policy alignment end of the urban sanitation spectrum. Now, based on the responses which we had received during at the end of the SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge 2021 and the results thereof, in which 246 cities had participated, the ministry has compiled the important parameters which were evaluated during this competition, the SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge, into a SafaiMitra Suraksha protocol, and for which a time-bound priority action plan has been created. These priority actions are required to be undertaken in the coming days. The JS, in her speech, in her address, she had commented upon them, upon the infrastructural and the institutional measures which need to be taken, and this has to be adopted by the states and the cities in the country, across the country, and a letter to this effect, a DO letter to this effect, was sent by our Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, to all the chief secretaries of the states and the administrators of the union territories on 17th of February, and the copies were shared with the principal secretaries urban development as well as the mission directors. So my next say around 10 slides would be based on an understanding of what is expected in this action plans. So the heading is SafaiMitra Suraksha Action Plan 2022, the focus area of the government. Every speaker has said, and it is well aware, everybody is well aware, that we, through this entire mechanism of Namaste and the other aspects which were taken up, we all are getting together to eliminate the hazardous entry perspective of sewers and septic tanks, and the safety and welfare of SafaiMitras becomes paramount of those people who are engaged in such practices. So SafaiMitras being a wider term, in which all the conservancy staff and others are also it could be covered, but the SafaiMitras engaged in practices of managing sewers and septic tanks, that is a subset which we are looking at. The action points or the action plan which was released out through that letter from the secretary consists of the following. One is that all ULBs have to, and in case they are major municipal corporations, but if it could be in the form of a district cluster, for the smaller urban local bodies, and all the urban local bodies in that district can get together to undertake this action. First is to do a mechanization and manpower related interventions has to be taken. So in 2023, and this is, like I said, time bound, in 2023, it is expected that all ULBs or clusters will assess the requirement of machines and equipment and the funds which will be required to transition to full mechanization. For this, a period of 3 months is given. So this is just an assessment of machines and equipment, what is the requirement, and what could be the possible sources of funding to transition to full mechanization. Second is to enumerate the availability of sewer entry professionals in the jurisdiction. In case you are a municipal corporation, within your jurisdiction, the adequate number of sewer entry professionals, you have to enumerate them, you have to identify them, as well as you have to kind of register them. For this, a period of 6 months has been given. Then all the private sanitation service operators, the PSSOs, have to be registered. Now, for this, because some of them could be very small PSSOs with, we are providing very few resources, the private few personnel or machines. So 10-20 formula is to be used. That means those PSSOs which are providing at least 10 vehicles, or those PSSOs which are able to provide at least 20 manpower. So if that 10-20 ratio of those people are there, those slightly biggish PSSOs and the larger private sanitation service operators, they have to be registered. D, provide skilling and reskilling to the sewer entry professionals and operators. The term operators will also include the operators of all the equipment which are required for managing sanitation services in your jurisdiction. Fifth is to make sure that safety gear for these sewer entry professionals is procured and stocked, and for this there cannot be any delay. So with full government support, these have to be stocked within your jurisdiction. And where it is to be, this entire thing is to be stocked is what we'll discuss slightly later. So this is in the immediate future. By March 2024, the next step is by March 2024, 100% ULBs should have required number of machines and equipment to eliminate manual entry into sewers or septic tanks. The elimination is obviously a broad word. So except for that rarest circumstance which could be justified by the responsible sanitation authority, in no other case there should be any cause for a manual entry. And in case for that, all possible machines and equipment should be made available by March 2024. And the Food Safety Action Plan also goes on to say that out of this, 50% of the ULBs, as decided by the state, could be covered by March 2023. Right. So for this, so far what has been done, because we understand that all cities or each city would have a cluster because of their population, because of their layout, because of size, and because of the terrain, etc. Whatever conditions are there, they'll have a unique need. So we can't sitting out here tell you that how much is to be procured. But a set of norms was developed last year, and which is already shared with the states, which covers the minimum requirement of each type of machine, equipment, and skilled manpower, which would be required for ensuring Suraksha of our sanitation, of our SafaiMitras. So all of these machines, if some engineer is there, he'll have a look at the set of machines which we have suggested. He'll note that each machine does takes care of a particular perspective of sanitation, and none of the machines could replicate. One machine cannot take on the other machine's job. So for this, to cover the requirement of these machines, as well as the manpower, a calculator was developed, and this has also been shared with you. So the calculator basically is it's just a Excel sheet. So the numbers need to be understood carefully. Just by saying that I have 4 vehicles, that doesn't serve my purpose, because the 4 vehicles should be able to do the job of 4 vehicles. So for this, we had been imparting trainings to states and ULBs, at least in the last 2 or 3 months. Almost every state has been touched, but it's again, we are again having a cycle of training because the Swachh Sarvekshan 2022 is on. So any state which further requires to be trained on this calculator, we are available for this training. So yeah, that is this. So what I was implying by the the numbers, what we understand is that to make sure that the SafaiMitras are not put into any danger, there could be 2 types of engagement. One could be that we have machines and equipment for preventive maintenance, that we undertake certain action over a period of time, 2 years, 3 years, so that all our sanitation infrastructure gets cleared. So those blockages will not occur. And if no blockages occur, then there would be no chance of asking for a person to go into a sewer or a septic tank. So a preventive maintenance regime was prepared when we thought about that SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge of 2020-21, in which we understood, based on our understanding from the developed nations, that each sewer line should have at least been cleared once in 2 years. So all my requirement of machines, which I say, the core mechanical equipment, when I say you should have so many hydrovac machines, it implies that those hydrovacs, depending on the diameter and the length of your sewers, X many numbers would be required, so that at least once in 2 years, all your sewer lines would get hydrovacs. That is, water will be put into them, and vacuum will suck out water from them along with the debris. So that was the intention. Similarly, when I say all these honeysuckles or the desludging vehicles, or in some places it is called cesspool vehicle, basically to empty the septic tanks. So if the regime is that you have to clean all your septic tanks in 3 years, so the number of machines required for cleaning all your septic tanks in 3 years is the number which the calculator gives. Now, however, these machines come in various sizes. It could be a small machine like I have shown here, which carries only around 2 to 3,000 liters. It could be only be a trailer. It could be a big machine which can carry 10,000 liters. So there is a standard machine mentioned in the calculator, both for the this desludging vehicle as well as the hydrovac equipment, which should be able to undertake certain you could say removal. Like in case of desludging vehicle, the calculator says that 9,000 liters of septage, that is 9,000 liters of septic tank, should be emptied and taken to the disposal point. Now, it will all depend on your distance between your location of removal of the sludge and the disposal point. So all those calculations have to be done by you, and that would become a standard vehicle. Just by saying that we have got X number of vehicles may not be the actual requirement has. We can't say the requirement has been fulfilled. So for that kind of intelligence has to be there. Second set of machines which could be required is for the emergency rectification. So there's a set of special appliances which I'll show on the next slide, which have also been scaled in that calculator, which is for the emergency rectification. Because despite all your activities in your periodic maintenance, you have carried out 2 years desludging, but there, because it's a civil infrastructure, it can definitely get blocked. Water and solids can accumulate, and then these special appliances could also be required, for which 5 or 6 types of machines which have been identified. Now you will find that while the core equipment in my previous slide is based on vehicles, my special machines are supposed to be the cheapest possible solutions, so that you can clean your sewers or septic tanks. So basic equipment which could be there, like the very simple grabbers, very simple machines, so that you don't spend too much money on just procuring these vehicles. But because of this special requirement, on a certain day when the emergency comes, these special appliances would undertake the job. And finally, there comes the safety gear, that is only for the sewer entry professional. A certain number of your people within your jurisdiction need to be trained so that they can be sent into the sewers as if and when, as a last resort, an emergency comes. And in case that happens, at that particular moment within your jurisdiction, basically municipal corporation or the district, these set of safety gear should be available, so that you are not looking back for such equipment. So that is last slide about this acquisition of equipment is that our recommended options were that first you could have a contract with the private sanitation and service operators through a turnkey project or a lease, so that's basically a rental model. Second, you could have a dedicated allotment from the state parastatal. Like in some cases, like in UP, they say the Jal Nigam looks after. The Jal Nigam can say that for this town, I'm dedicating this many resources, this many machines, these many manpower, which are actually my employees. I'm dedicated to this particular town X. So if that dedicated allotment is given to you on a paper, this will also meet your requirement. Third could be that you don't purchase for each small municipality, but you can do a cluster-wide purchase, because some of the machines are such that your vehicle, these vehicles or these larger machines may not be required by your municipality on an everyday basis. Suppose you are a small town, 40-50,000 population, you don't require a camera on a daily basis. So it could be shared between 2 or 3 or 5 towns in the nearby this thing. Similarly, for the larger machines like hydrovac. So you should try to do a cluster-wide purchase. So this arrow tries to say this is the priority of recommendations. Now, Navi Mumbai spoke today, and Indore also spoke today. So Navi Mumbai has got a model, but Navi Mumbai has got 100% their own manpower, their own machinery. And now Navi Mumbai has been able to do it because of its economic situation. But other cities which are lagging, they do tell us that they do not have the they were short of resources at a certain time. So we would rather suggest that you go for this the options which could be more financially viable. Today we learned from GEM that they are supporting they have already supported Swachh Bharat mission, and as you go on the GEM website, just you have to click on the Swachh Bharat mission icon, and you come to all the products which are required for the Swachh Bharat mission. And through our recent interventions, SBM had met their CEO, and they have agreed to create another such icon on the cover page of the GEM portal for the SafaiMitra Suraksha. So all my equipment requirement which we have listed in the previous picture slide, all those pictures, all those machines will be made available on GEM portal at one specific place, and soon we'll be able to procure it from there. Now, the second point of which I was very impressed was about the Indore innovation. So, a lot of these machines are very costly. Even on GEM, they are very costly. But Indore has made a, you could say, copy of those very efficient machines, and which actually work very well for Indian context. So, all the other cities should also try to learn from this thing. Now, second, that was for the manpower and the mechanical interventions. Now we come to the institutional interventions. Everybody who spoke today, all the 6 top ranking cities, they do have understood it quite well, that there has to be an institutional interventions about the creation of this responsible sanitation authority and sanitation response unit. But some of the towns who are attending today, at you could say the lower ranked among the top 100, they may need a small bit of re-emphasizing on what is the need for this. And like the previous speaker was also trying to say, that there could be various situations. So first of all, as per the address from our secretary to the chief secretary, there has to be a state level SafaiMitra Suraksha policy. So you work out whatever is your policy based on your needs. So these policy or guidelines they need to be finalized and issued. As far as possible, they should correspond to what we have been trying to project, but there could be a, definitely we can't say that we know every sitting in the center. There could be a situation, there could be a particular alignment of cities. Like in Delhi, they say that the MCDs do not look after the sanitation at all. So I can't ask the Municipal Corporation of Delhi to give me any data about sanitation, so about the SafaiMitra Suraksha elements, because they all are linked to the sanitation perspective. So there could be a situation which will be depending from the state to state. There could be certain modification, but in most of the cases, what we were trying to say actually does work. Second is that there should be a responsible sanitation authority. It's just a documentary thing to be done. There has been enough talk during the last 2 years that who could be the responsible sanitation authority. Now the responsible sanitation authority has been decided by the group of ministers, a very large group of ministers, which the JS also had referred. Now they have directed that this responsible sanitation authority will only be the district magistrate or the district commissioner, because this person has to be given legal powers. And under the PMSRA Act of 2013, which is under revision, I think I've been told that the powers are even being enhanced, so that he will be able to put a person who does not follow the directives or does not follow the picture, he could be sent to jail for a period of 2 to 5 years. So that kind of a power only rests with a senior person with a magisterial power. So all these persons who are to be nominated as the RSA have to have that kind of a magisterial power of a district magistrate or higher. So this is one. So please make sure that the RSA is only the district magistrate or district commissioner or collector, and this has to be done within a period of 1 month. Second, a sanitation response unit. SRU has been directed by the group of ministers that each district will have one SRU. Basically, if I'll go to the next slide to explain what SRU looks like, but this has to be set up in each district, and one additional SRU can be provided because of the higher urban, you could say, density of sanitation infrastructure. One additional SRU will be in each municipal corporation. Basically, with the idea that municipal corporations are very, very massive populated areas. But we all understand that in some states, the municipal corporations would have a lesser population than the non-municipal corporation in other states. So that state will have to take a call whether their municipal corporation will have a standalone sanitation response unit, which will be called a municipal MCSRU, or would it like to be a part of a district SRU, being a very, very small municipal corporation. So that call has to be taken by you. Definitely the fourth and the final element is that this registered telephone helpline number 144420, which has been rolled out by almost 200 out of 246 participating cities in the SafaiMitra Suraksha Challenge 2021, and that has to be expanded and to cover all the 4,000 plus ULBs in the country, and this dedicated emergency number should be made operational and well advertised. Right. Now, just a couple of slides on what this concept of the SRU and RSA is there. So, as we understand that there should be some professionally trained person who should be available within a reasonable distance of if a sanitation emergency takes place. We do not look at an unqualified person just because no qualified or no trained person was there. Then we go and find somebody who is willing to do it and who can be exploited for a small bit of money. So that is totally not agreeable. So this qualified person should be available within your jurisdiction. And for that, what we have said is that a particular portion, the calculator also says that 7% of your requirement of the sanitation staff, basically the sewermen and the sanitary beldar, they should be further trained. So if sewermen and your beldars are semi-skilled above the labor, this person will be further highly skilled person who could be, who has the confidence as well as necessary mind to enter a confined space which could be potentially hazardous. So these personnel which should be professionally trained, retrained, motivated and equipped should be available to us. So now the entire infrastructure which this DSRA or the MCSRU would be, that there will be an organization which will be headed by one nominated responsible sanitation authority, which I said will be the DC, under whom there will be a sanitation response unit located in the headquarter town of each district. So this is generally based along the structure of fire service or the fire brigade, so that there is somebody to respond, and a person or a citizen can't say that I was not able to find anybody to respond, and that's why I have employed an untrained person. So this support through this 5-digit toll number is also there. And as the Bombay's example was shown today in that best practices, a special mobile response system is under development. We are also working on it, and which will be rolled out after its approval across the country. So this will be immediately, this vehicle like a fire truck is there. Similarly, this vehicle will be there, and wherever this emergency is there in the district, this will be rolled out. Number of places I have explained this, the entire organization, and you'll find that there is no requirement of engaging any new officers. All these people will be doing their additional role. The responsible sanitation authority, who's a DC, this is an additional role for him. The officer in charge of ERSU should be an executive engineer or equivalent or SC level officer. This is also an additional role because that officer is already doing X number of other duties in the urban local body or in the district. Similarly, the duty or entry supervisor would also be a junior engineer who's also got 3 or 4 wards under him, but this is an additional role. Because our sanitation emergency is not exactly like a fire emergency. We can wait a day or two, but we should be very well organized when we undertake a response. Then there is the administrative supervisor. Basically, he is the only full-time employee because he has to impanel all the PSSOs and also enumerate all the keep a record of all the sewer entry professionals which we have discussed earlier. So this will be the administrative supervisor will only be a full-time person who is deputed to this organization. Then there will be a call center which could be outsourced also, or it could be an employee, a set of employees, because this has to be manned 24/7. So you will have to take a call on this. But the key person out here is the sewer entry professional. Like I said, he is also one of the sewermen or beldars, but he, by rotation or by motivation, he is a person who's nominated and who's available, so that whenever emergency is there, he can be called to come to the site of emergency and undertake that task. So this is the entire organization of the sanitation response unit. Our aim is that we should not fear this problem, but we should go it with full operating procedures, emergency response units, organizations, and equipment and the gear, so that there is no question of any loss of life in this by this unfortunate way. Right now, last couple of slides. This sanitation SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge was conducted. It was a standalone event last year, and 246 cities participated. Now it is becoming a part of the Swachh Sarvekshan 2022. So under Swachh Sarvekshan 2022, 375 marks have been dedicated for all the elements of SafaiMitra Suraksha challenge, which is now becoming the SafaiMitra Suraksha protocol. So protocol means it covers all the possible aspects which a city should keep in mind, so that all from all angles the safety is assured, safety and welfare is assured. So a prerequisite for this claiming this 375 marks is that your RSA and SRU must be in existence, along with certain other certificates. The town would have to have the proper RSA and the SRU establishment, be it a standalone MCSRU or the district SRU, but that should be notified and operational. This is the breakdown of 375 marks. 110 marks would be for the machines and equipment and the safety gear. 50 marks would be for the manpower, 40 marks for the IC measures and the public awareness, basically interaction between the public. They should be aware that these systems are there, and these systems are there to help them. 85 marks are very important. 85 marks for the capacity building, skilling and welfare of SafaiMitras. And lastly, 90 marks are for the improved ecosystem, because finally you can't build everything here. Your ecosystem should also be there, that your sanitation infrastructure already has got, like your septic tanks are they following that IS code 2470, or is any structure being called a septic tank? So all those things will have to be taken into account, and whether you already have a mechanism for managing your sewers, do you have STPs, and all those things will get covered under this 90 marks. So the breakup of this, like we said, we are having presentations for training states. So the further breakup of all the marks is being shared with the states, but for the higher offices of the cities which are participating today, I think this should be enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohit, very much. You have explained in detail that action plan, and I think this will be very helpful to all our ULBs who may be sometime listening this for first time. And this SafaiMitra Suraksha related policy and RSA and SRO related things, I think it will be very helpful. So with this, we have completed presentations, and now it is time for open house discussion, and that will be moderated by UMC. So let us, UMC may take over and start that open house discussion. Over to Meghna ma'am.
Thank you so much, Chaurasia sir. I think बहुत सारे शहर के, I think there have been a lot of questions also, and I think specifically related to, I think, procurement of equipment and PPEs, etc. So if there are any specific questions from cities, we would request cities to kindly ask questions. We have experts here from even the GEM portal, and I think and even the other cities that have really done well, we can also ask specific questions to the 6 top cities. Chaurasia sir, we can request cities to unmute themselves and ask questions, right?
Yes. I request because this is opportunity where GEM authorities are also there, Ministry of Social Justice ma'am is also there, and even from ministry side also, apart from ma'am, we all are here. So if any query is there, anything is there, that will be able to definitely clear it right away. And UMC will already, they have examined and analyzed all the things. They will also be of great help. So please don't hesitate. If you have any query, please come forward and ask.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Please introduce yourself and then please ask your question.
I'm Mr. D. Gurung. I'm from PHE Department, Government of Sikkim. I have a small query. We are talking about mechanization of sewer line cleaning. So we have a terrain here which is very hilly, and our terrain is not suitable for heavy machines like jetting machines. Jetting machines can't go everywhere. It's very difficult for us to achieve mechanization level. So there are no machines manufactured in this country which is suitable for our use. In fact, our government is very proactive in procuring machines. We have gone to lots of cities. We have gone to a lot of manufacturers. They don't make machines which are suitable for our terrain. Anyways, I think I hope I'm able to explain myself clearly. What I'm basically trying to say is there are no machines suitable, for our terrain. We have bought jetting machines, but the jetting machine, because of our terrain, it can't go everywhere. We have bought rodding machines. We cannot take rodding machines to some areas. In fact, most of the areas, because of our terrain, we want to mechanize, but there is hardly any machines which is being made in this country which is suitable for our terrain. How do you go about mechanization in our case? Thank you.
Gurung Sahab, I think.
Rohit.
See, what the pictures we shown you for the small towns, but like in a hill, there are, finally there has to be some kind of a contraption. Because finally, yours is not a very unique hill. There would be similar hills in Europe and in South America also. So what we are trying to say is that basically, if the machine does not go there, if the pump is not, you are not able to lift the pump to that point, maybe there has to be, so some engineer can go and sit there and he can understand what is required for this town. But we can't say, finally, the same, only this system will work, that either you have to rod through the hole, or you have to suck through a vacuum, or you have to flush water through this. There is no other way to remove this thing. So we understand your problem?
और इसमें रोहित जी मैं ये ऐड करना चाहूंगा गुरुंग जी को, बिकॉज in hilly terrain lot of slope is available, so chances of deposition and such type of blockages are very rare. And if some point of time, even if you find there is some blockages and other, because of slope, it's this some tanker and some type of this treated water is put, it will automatically be able to flush out. So I think there may be plenty of solution out of this. We can engage and discuss, and we will be able to provide some more solutions, right? Any other query, please?
Good evening. I'm Vijay Premi from Municipal Corporation Chandigarh. Regarding जैम पे मेरा ये इंक्वायरी था, हमने अभी मशीन्स परचेज किए हैं, जैसे सीवर सक्शन कम जेटिंग मशीन्स। तो इसमें जो प्रॉब्लम आई है वो प्राइस एस्केलेशन की बहुत प्रॉब्लम आई है कि इसमें प्राइसेस बहुत ज़्यादा दिखाए गए हैं मार्केट के हिसाब से। तो उस प्राइसेस को इस तरीके से डाला है, जैसे हमने टेंडर कॉल किया तो एक कंपनी ने लेस देन 50% डाला इनके जो ऑलरेडी था इंडेक्स में। तो उसमें हमें प्रॉब्लम्स आती है एस्टिमेशन और जो प्रोक्योरमेंट में डिफरेंस आता है उसको थोड़ा सा देखा जाए प्लीज।
ओके
सर, आपका किस तरह का इशू आ रहा है? कितना? हेलो
चंडीगढ़,
हाँ जी
प्लीज एक बार अगेन रिपीट करिए।
सर जैम में जो उन्होंने,
हाँ मैं जैम बताइए
सर जैम से अभी हमने
किस तरह की प्रॉब्लम आ रही है?
4 सीवर क्लीनिंग मशीन्स अभी हमने जैम के थ्रू परचेज की हैं चंडीगढ़ के लिए। जब हमने उसका और कोटेशन लेके उसकी हमने बिड डाली तो उसमें डिस्काउंट 50% तक आ गया, 40 to 50%। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो आप उसमें दिखा रहे हो ऑलरेडी जैम के रेट्स दिखा रहे हो वो शुरू से ही कॉम्पिटिटिव दिखाएं, मतलब रीजनेबल रेट से दिखाएं, वो आप उसमें एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी रेट्स
तो आप उसमें मेरा एक सजेशन है कि जब भी आप एस्टिमेट रेट लें तो लॉग इन करें पहले पोर्टल में, लॉग इन करके एस्टिमेट रेट लें। क्योंकि होता क्या है कि जो जैम में मार्केट में रेट पड़ा हुआ है वो अक्रॉस द कंट्री रेट है। आपको पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन में क्या रेट होगा, जब आप अपने को लॉग इन करेंगे तो वहां पे उस लोकेशन का रेट आएगा। सो बेटर है कभी भी एस्टिमेशन बनाए तो प्रोडक्ट का, तो उसको पहले लॉग इन करें अपने बायर आईडी से और फिर जो है उस प्रोडक्ट का रेट लें, तो आपको एक बेहतर एस्टिमेशन मिलेगा।
एक सेकंड और मेरा सुजेशन था सर, जैसे ये मशीन्स के साथ अगर पार्ट ए पार्ट बी कर दे, इसकी ऑपरेशन मेंटेनेंस भी इसमें ऐड कर दे, सो दैट के ये जब हम उसका टेंडर कॉल करें तो वो ऑपरेशन मेंटेनेंस 2 या 3 साल के लिए वो कंपनी खुद करे।
ड्राइवर आप सजेशन आप लिख के दे दीजिए, मेल कर दीजिए, हम लोग इसको एग्जामिन कर लेंगे और इसको इनकॉर्पोरेट कर देंगे। कोई
Just want to add on to what चंडीगढ़ ने बोला सर, ये O&M का बहुत बड़ा मसला है। आई थिंक ऑल सिटीज एंड काफी हुआ है कि स्पेयर पार्ट्स भी अवेलेबल नहीं होते हैं फ्रॉम द मैन्युफैक्चरर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सिटी या टाउन। So I think that O&M support from the manufacturer, I think has been requested by many cities, sir.
अभी हमने इसको 2 तरीके से हैंडल किया है। एक O&M के लिए एक हमने सर्विस भी क्रिएट की है ऑपरेशन एंड मेंटेनेंस के लिए, आप उसको भी अवेल कर सकते हैं। या अगर आप चाहते हैं कि यू वांट टू बाई अलोंग विद द प्रोडक्ट, तो हम फिर जो है उसके जो कैटेगरी में जो है ये O&M जो है प्रोविजन जो है कर देंगे। सो वट एवर वे यू वांट टू हायर दिस सर्विस, you just write to us जो है, then we will suitably modify either our category or will create new service or new product category.
Sir, Panvel here, Maharashtra.
हाँ बोलिए।
Yes, please.
My question is regarding the GEM portal only. Myself, Sachin Pawar, Deputy Commissioner, Panvel Corporation. What we are facing the problem here is the bidders who bid are from the northern side, and they are bidding at the lowest price, and the products which we are getting are means the products, the quality of the product. Second thing, the service from that point of view जो है अपना means maintenance का service जो है वो सर्विस हमको बिल्कुल ही अच्छा नहीं मिल रहा है। वी आर गेटिंग अ बैड एक्सपीरियंस अबाउट दैट। सो कैन वी डू समथिंग कि दैट रीजन वाइज आप कुछ उसमें जैम में कुछ प्रोविजन कर सकते हैं, या मींस कैन इट बी पॉसिबल टू हैव अ रीजन वाइज फैसिलिटी टू बी गिवन? क्योंकि बहुत दिक्कत आती है। हमारे गार्बेज कॉम्पैक्टर्स इतने बुरे तरह से फंस गए थे। हमने जेम को भी लिखा था। दूसरा एग्जांपल हमारा लैडर जो हमने बनाया था, इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल जो मंगाया था, उसमें तो स्पेसिफिकेशन हमने रिजेक्ट कर दिया व्हीकल। बट देयर इज नाइदर द प्रोविजन ऑफ ब्लैक लिस्टिंग ऑल्सो। उसमें स्ट्रिक्ट प्रोविजन होना चाहिए कि ब्लैक लिस्टिंग के लिए जो प्रोविजन रहना चाहिए वो स्ट्रिक्ट रहना चाहिए, तभी जेम पे फिर ज्यादा से ज्यादा खरीदी कर सकते हैं।
शायद जब हमने आपको स्लाइड दिखाया था तो हमने एक क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस पे एक पॉइंट डिस्कस किया हुआ था। क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस को आप इंश्योर कर सकते हैं, एश्योर कर सकते हैं 2-3 तरीके से जेम में। एक तो आप जो है प्री बिड इंस्पेक्शन सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, प्री डिस्पैच इंस्पेक्शन, दैट बिफोर सप्लाई द इंस्पेक्शन विल बी डन बाय द बायर साइड। तो एक तो वहां पे आप ले सकते हैं कि जब वो सप्लाई करे तो उसके प्रीमिसेस पे ही आप इंस्पेक्शन कर सकते हैं। दूसरा है कि अगर आप उसके बाद आपको जब सीआरएसी जनरेट करते हैं, क्रैक जनरेट करना है, कंसाइनिंग रिसीट एंड एक्सेप्टेंस सर्टिफिकेट, वहां पे भी आप जो है उसका जो है इंस्पेक्शन कर सकते हैं। तीसरा पॉइंट है कि अगर दोनों जगह आप मिस कर गए हैं, इसके बाद कोई आप जो है सप्लायर आपको एज पर क्वालिटी नहीं दे रहा या आपको सर्विस नहीं दे रहा, वारंटी गारंटी, तो आप इंसिडेंट रेज कर सकते हैं। इंसिडेंट आप ही रेज करेंगे, और इंसिडेंट जो है विद इन 7 और 15 डेज जो है इंसिडेंट जो है, आफ्टर 15 डेज अगर आप रिजॉल्व नहीं कर रहे हैं बिटवीन बायर एंड सेलर, रिजोल्यूशन नहीं हो रहा है, तो आप उसको जो है एस्केलेट कर दीजिए जेम के उस पर। देन जेम इशू द सो कॉज नोटिस, और सो कॉज नोटिस के बाद उसको 3 to 9 मंथ्स के लिए उसको ब्लैक लिस्ट कर देता। जैम में ब्लैक लिस्ट का मतलब है कि पूरे इंडिया में कहीं भी किसी भी बायर से काम नहीं कर सकता। सो पेनाल्टी काफी है। केवल शायद हम लोग कहीं ना कहीं जो जैम की फंक्शनलिटी है, जो शायद एक बार ट्रेनिंग की जरूरत है कि सो दैट कि सब कोई अवेयर हो कि क्या क्या फंक्शनलिटी है और कैसे कैसे हम लोग इसको यूज कर सकते हैं। थैंक यू।
नीतीश बोल रहा हूँ छत्तीसगढ़ से। सर एक रिक्वेस्ट थी सर, सीपीएचईओ से और जेम से, दोनों से ज्वाइंटली। सर जो पीपी आइटम्स हैं वो यदि हम खरीदने जाते हैं सर, तो नॉर्मल पीपी आइटम मिलने लगते हैं, तो जब हमारा टेंडर रेट होता है तो उसमें L1 आ जाते हैं और नॉर्मल पीपी मिलने लगते हैं स्पेशलाइज्ड की जगह। तो सर यदि इसका स्पेसिफिकेशन फिक्स हो जाए सर तो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा सर, और इसके अलग से
स्पेसिफिकेशन के मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा, एक जैम में कैटेगरी स्पेसिफिकेशन है, एक उसके रिस्पॉन्स में प्रोडक्ट स्पेसिफिकेशन है। तीसरा हमने आपको बायर को भी 5 स्पेसिफिकेशन डालने का प्रोविजन दे रखा है। अगर आपको लगता है कि जैम साइड में जो है स्पेसिफिकेशंस हैं उसको कुछ आपको एडिशनल स्पेसिफिकेशन डालने हैं टू इम्प्रूव द क्वालिटी और टू मीट योर रिक्वायरमेंट, तो आपको हमने 5 पैरामीटर्स डालने का प्रोविजन दे रखा है। So you can utilize that provision and while creating the bid, और अपनी तरफ से आप उसको 5 पैरामीटर्स।
वही रिक्वेस्ट थी सर, जैसे एसडीएम में आपने जब कैटेगरी बनाई सर तो उसके स्पेसिफिकेशन दे दिए थे, जैसे हैंड ग्लव्स यदि मैं लेने जाऊं सर तो L1 ना नॉर्मल वाले हैंड ग्लव्स आ जाते हैं हमेशा। तो यदि सेफ्टी के लिए है, सफाई मित्र के लिए है, तो इसकी एक कैटेगरी बना दी जाए सर।
हाँ, तो आप अगर आपको लगता है कि टोटल आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट डिफरेंट है जो हमारे जैम पोर्टल पे, तो आप अपने स्पेसिफिकेशन शेयर कर दीजिए अपने नोडल्स के साथ, वो जैम के साथ शेयर कर देंगे, तो हम वी विल क्रिएट सेपरेट कैटेगरी फॉर
के लिए, सेफ्टी गियर के लिए, और सर अदर मशीनरी आइटम जो है
रिक्वायरमेंट अपनी along with the technical parameters you share with your जो मिनिस्ट्री में 84 हिसाब से साथ शेयर कर दीजिए।
Sarma ji, ये point we have noted your point and we will work on this so that some of the important items we could have specification to the extent feasible.
Sir, and sir one request is there sir for other machinery item. सर यदि इसमें O&M भी आ जाए सर, 4 years 5 years जो गाइडलाइन बोलती है 5 years का O&M, क्योंकि अभी विदाउट O&M है सर, O&M के साथ आ जाए, AMC के साथ आ जाए इसके रेट्स, तो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा सर आगे।
तो आपका सजेशन हम नोट कर रहे हैं, हम चौरसिया साहब से ही बोलेंगे। आप आपसे जो O&M जब आप डलवाएंगे तो O&M की कंडीशन जरूर दे दीजिएगा कि उसकी
सर वही AMC के लिए चाहिए सर, मशीनरी को O&M।
हाँ, O&M की टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन क्या है, ऑपरेशन एंड मेंटेनेंस किस टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस पे आप करना चाहते हैं, देन वी विल स्पेसिफाई दोज टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस इन द सर्विसेज जो है, और फिर आप उसको जो है प्रोडक्ट के साथ ले सकते हैं।
सर थैंक यू सर।
I think Chaurasia sir, if I can come in for a minute, sir. So ये PP specifications I think बहुत granular level पे बने हुए हैं sir. अलग-अलग states का comparative करके we have that table and we can share it with you for your technical guidance and then you can share it, sir.
ठीक है, we will examine already जो नीतीश जी बोले हैं and accordingly we will be in touch with GEM Secretariat. So that is a good thing. Whatever if some work is done already, please share with us. Yes, any other query? Any other doubt? सोशल जस्टिस से बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स रन हो रहे हैं जिनके कन्वर्जेंस से थिंग्स विल बिकम मोर वायबल एंड many encouraging things are also there related to entrepreneurship and procuring some of the things. So if any query is there, I think that can also be arranged. Anyway, if no other question, that option will be open through that state coordinator. You people can always share if any afterthought comes, any after other requirement is there, so that we can examine and take it for further compliance. So, ma'am, I request if you have some closing words. After that, Rohit ji will do vote of thanks.
Thank you, Chaurasia ji. Just one thing is, I started my discussion with you saying that you are the chosen 100, and my faith is just stronger at the end of near 3-hour meeting. Brilliant work has been done by many of the cities, and the rest of you have the potential to do it. Now, what Rohit ji shared with you as an action plan and timeline is for the rest of the country, not for these champion 100. For you, the timeline is very, very sharp. I'm giving you 100 days time because many of you have gone half the distance. Microgranularity, polishing it, going to the next level is a continuous process. But let's first reach a particular benchmark where we have spread our safety net and we are good there to go to the next higher level. So that much of work, which lists down, as I listed, some 7, 8, 10 odd activities, we need to do over the next 100 days. And this will be the highlight of this particular quarter as we move in. And Sarvekshan, I will be looking forward specifically to your performance in these 375, 400 marks. So I would request that all of you sit down, have a look at what we are going to do over the next few days. Whatever support you need, reach out to me and my team, and let's do something concrete. So that's it from me. Rohit, you can wrap up. Thank you, everyone.
Rohit ji.
Thank you, ma'am. At the end, I think we also saw a very welcome participation, and thanks for your time. I think we extended by almost 1.5 to 2 hours. So at the end, let me offer my sincere thanks to Mrs. Yogita Sarup, from Senior Economic Advisor from Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Joint Secretary SBM Ms. Rupa Mishra, Mr. Y.K. Phatak, Additional CEO GEM, Dr. V.K. Chaurasia, my senior colleague here, the senior municipal officers, the municipal commissioners, and the other senior officers who have joined us from across the country. And lastly, but not the least, our coordinators from UMC, Mamita ma'am and Ms. Malhotra. Thank you so much all for your participation, and we look forward for having a much improved SafaiMitra Suraksha coverage in the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you everybody. So we close the meeting now. Thank you very much.